Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio and a fine libations Friday to you and yours, loosey-goosey edition of the show. Woo! Feeling good to be here. Glad you were with us. Online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. If you miss anything, go back, get caught up at your leisure. As we do post the show when it's over on iTunes. Go find it, rate, review, share with your friends, tell everybody about it. Listen in. Also, we posted it in the archive audio, like I said. You can email us if you want, jcs at 979espnradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. WTSM app, good for mobile devices. Hello, YouTubers. Hello, Periscopers. I hope you are well. As we get rolling on a Friday, Justin Rose, your leader at the U.S. Open, will give you couple. Some of you I know want to get home and watch it, and so I don't want to spoil things as we go along, but I'll give you periodic updates as the leaderboard. Let's bring it back home for a second. Brooks Koepka stuck in idle as he is at -2, the leader at -8, as they are on the front nine now, so I would hope that Brooks maybe he is on the front right now.
Yes,
right
which
now.
is his second nine of the day, yes.
Yeah, hopefully gets an opportunity there to get it going. Ricky Fowler is yet to tee off. We'll do so next hour. Same for Xander Schauffele and Oosthuizen and the others that are there in contention right there with him. Tiger Woods also stuck in idle at -2. Does have a birdie putt on number 4 here, which is his back nine.
Yeah.
So if he can get it to 4 or 5 under, okay. All right, we're in there. You got to, keep it within a handful of strokes as we get into the weekend.
So if you're the type of golf fan who says, not so much on the weekdays, but if Tiger and some big names are in it on a Saturday and a Sunday, I'll tune in. Well, get ready to see the montage of montages of Justin Rose escaping trouble. I mean, my God, some of the places he's been to still be in the position that he's in, which is leading the tournament. He may have just added to it on number 4. He had to drop because he went into the water, and so he dropped and he hits a wedge, and he's actually.
I saw it, yeah.
Yeah.
He's right
That's
there
his
within
par
a few
putt.
feet,
And,
yeah.
of course, he's going to make that. I thought Molinari scrambled on Sunday at the Masters. That front nine?
Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Justin Rose is a major champion. He's the number 4 ranked player in the world. It would be a hell of a bounce back after failing to make the cut at the Masters and playing terribly.
It would be an insult to injury victory for those of us who may have
had Justin Rose.
pushed some chips into the table.
Oh, my goodness gracious. But he's a good player, and I will say this because I can. I've met Justin Rose. He's a nice guy. Met him at Augusta National, Tom, at a party I was at. Super nice guy, in fact. That's a true story. Very nice guy. You can root for him.
It must have been he and you and Scott Van Pelt, because it's just 3 nice guys talking about, nothing.
Yeah, Van Pelt was there. I was not.
Oh, was he? I'm sorry. Is he omitted off of that list?
He was omitted off the list.
Oh.
Hey, listen, we're not going that way. I'm sure he's fine.
Are you? Okay.
I don't know. He does a good job. I know that. His show's great.
I think high-strung probably is the right
I think
term
that's a
for
better
him.
way to
Just
go about it.
high-strung.
Yeah, I think it's speaking of high-strung, and I know we got to get to the world champion Toronto Raptors, and we will, as Jordan Spieth birdies and is now at -2 as well. But I do want to say, speaking of which, while we're on the subject, did he not just solidify, Jordan Spieth that is, probably a protracted disdain for now until he retires after yesterday's nonsense blaming his caddy for his 20-yard cooked shot over the green? Man, the fact that they picked that up on audio and he didn't know it, you get more in, he's done this before.
Right.
And I understand they have a dynamic that's different than maybe other player-caddy relationships.
That's a good cover story.
I mean, that's what they say. It's your job as a caddy to wear that, I think. Man, we might have had a come-to-Jesus moment after that round. I mean, he asked him for the distance 6 times. He tells him all 6 times exactly how far it is and what they hit in the practice rounds, what the wind's doing. He tells him what he needs to land it, what it is to the flag, and what it is to the back. I can't hit the shot for you, man. I mean, this is what I'm here for. I have told you every which way to Sunday exactly how far your shot is, how far we pace it from the edge, how far it is to the back. I gave you every yardage. I told you the wind, and you cook it into the thick stuff 15 yards over because you overhit your 6-iron or hit the wrong club. I don't know. But you got to hit the shot, and then you're going to blame me?
Well, I mean, that's just what Brooks did, the back nine to Bethpage when he was on that par 3 and he hit an 8-iron over the green. I mean, he went right to his caddy and said, it's all your fault.
I mean, it's one thing if you're like 2 to 5 yards off or something. You might have a miscalculation. You might second guess my number. And I could have told you that was 164, 167, 161. It doesn't.
Yeah.
You hit it 175.
Right.
I can't help you.
Yeah, if we're at Southwood and you read what's in the cart to me, or you use my little Bushnell
Yeah.
device, and you're like, it's 116, Tom, and I bladed through the green out, I go, damn it, Jeff!
It's clearly.
What the hell's wrong with you?
I mean, that was nuts. He did that yesterday. I thought, man, my man, you're 15 yards off.
He's 15 years old on the golf course.
It's just if it were 3 yards this way, 3 yards that way, you can come at me a little bit with my yardage. That wouldn't have mattered. I could you. He should have said it wouldn't have mattered. You hit it 15 yards over the green. I could have told you it was 170, 160. What the hell do I care? You hit it 178.
He should have dropped a bomb on him like Rom's caddy out at
That was
TPC.
the best. That's still my favorite. Is he still his caddy?
Yes.
They've got a good relationship.
They do.
They've got a good relationship. That was unbelievable. I texted you the second that Rom's caddy just F-bombed him.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
I've never seen that before. I remember I asked that night or that Wednesday, I asked whoever our guest was on Beyond the Tips, have you ever heard a caddy F-bomb a player after they double a hole? And the answer was a resounding no. No, I've never heard that. I've heard of caddies and players getting in fights after rounds, like physical confrontations. I've heard of guys getting fired the second they walk off the 18th green, a player being so incensed at something a caddy did, saying, "You're fired. Have a good day." I've heard of all of that, but never a caddy F-bombing a player in the middle of a round.
I know they have many golf sets, but put my clubs down first. All right, now you're fired.
Now you're fired. I'm gonna have to let you go.
Not Shooter McGavin when you're on like the sixth hole. You're
no.
like, 9-iron, huh?
I'll cut you a check.
You're fired.
But, yeah, man, that is absolutely brutal. So that said, let's move forward. Toronto is your world champion, and if you go back and think of before the season, the storylines we talked about in the NBA, we don't talk about it much during the regular season. That's a long season. I know my market. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on a regular season or even certain kind of under the radar free agent moves when, for example, you have sort of a foregone conclusion kind of out there floating, the way it's been lately.
This decade has been mostly that, yes.
Yeah, mostly foregone conclusions. Go back to the trade. You bring in a Kawhi Leonard. Certainly it raised eyebrows because of the magnificence of the player. But he only played 9 games for San Antonio the previous year. Maybe that's why it didn't get as much publicity.
Mm-hmm.
Going to a place like Toronto where, they fire their coach who was the coach of the year. They get rid of DeRozan, keep Lowry, and they bring in, obviously, Kawhi. Later on, they bring in Gasol. I don't know that we really necessarily, over the course of the year, could have thought that we'd be at this moment, that we'd be talking about a 4-2 series win for Toronto, the new world champions. And it's bizarre because obviously we knew what Kawhi was prior to that 9-game campaign. We know what a superstar player he is. But watching the playoffs and watching the way that team played, every round you got more and more into the idea that, they got a lot of guys that can score. And we talked about it. I like you thought, that Toronto-Milwaukee series is going to be great. I picked Toronto. Didn't make me incredibly, prescient, but I just thought they got a lot of guys that can score, and he's a really good defender. And notice that series switched when they put him.
Yeah, on the freak.
Yeah.
Am I crazy to say this, because this is how I felt watching it, that the most present Kawhi was in the fourth quarter last night was when he was shooting the free throws to end it?
Yeah.
I mean, that fourth quarter was about Siakam. It was about Van Vliet. It was about the other guys.
Yeah. No, and you can argue certainly he didn't have that great a game last night, Kawhi, that is. He looked a little tired. There's speculation he was playing the back end of the Milwaukee series and all of this series somewhat banged up. He looked a little banged up.
If I had to guess, and it's reckless speculation, but it looked like some kind of toe or foot injury.
Yeah, he had something.
Didn't he look like Trent Forrest? Like the same kind of hobbling around?
Something was, and he found ways over the course of this series to pick his spots to go at it and just, make a go of it. But, and we'll talk about this as the show goes on. The numbers trickling out today on the playoff run into the championship victory, put him in the elitist of company. Some of the greatest players and the greatest players of all time. That's where he is in terms of a postseason run. Mm-hmm. Now, where he is in the NBA currently is a top 5 player, unquestionable. Top 3 player, I think now. He's probably ascended into the argument of top 3 player, top 2 player.
Oh, I
think that's. I mean, he
2. I'd put it at.
Yeah, I'd put him in. Yeah, and now that Durant's hurt, he might very well be the best player in basketball because of what he does on the defensive end.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's
well, and if you're averaging raw point totals and you're able to play defense like that, and you can affect the game, you could set up the offense and you could direct traffic. I mean, he's not out there as somebody who, and this is no disrespect to Klay Thompson, who I'm sure we'll get to here in a second. But he's not a guy that they set a bunch of screens for, and then he's a spot-up shooter, and then that's his game. He directs traffic on both sides of the court.
Yeah,
and then he scores 30, and then he plays great defense against the other team's best player. I mean,
and he never talks about it.
It's all-encompassing.
He's easy to embrace in that way, in an era where it's a look-at-me era. And, look, I get it. Some guys are fun that way, and that's how they are able to motivate themselves and others, for that matter. It is refreshing to have a guy in this era just go about his business. Just go about his. I'm not saying you have to do that. I'm not one of these people like, oh, that's the way it should be. Well, I mean, not everybody's the same. I got that. But I do like it. I do like that he is just steady. I'm coming to work. I'm going to beat your ass. I'm going to go home. I'm going to do it again tomorrow. And I'm going to go back to work. I'm going to beat your ass again. I'm going to go back.
But that's the thing.
I love it.
He doesn't say it with any, vigor or emotion. He's not like, I'm going to beat your ass.
No,
he's pointing at you.
No, his game screams that is what I'm saying. Yeah, his game says, I got this.
If I could find it, it's like Jameis, we're going to win that game back in the day on Saturday. Yeah. It's just like he's not even saying.
Most likely win that game.
He's not saying it with any kind of in-your-face element to it. He just knows what they're going to do.
No, it's funny. That I forgot about that clip, by the way. It's still one of my very favorite clips, and these days we have to fall back on it at all time because it's just so it's just a nice reminder when all was well on the football field.
Long ago.
I'm laughing about what gets lost in all this is a 4-bouncer against Philadelphia. He's the third player, is Kawhi Leonard, by the way, in league history to win Finals MVP with multiple teams. The Bucks and the Lakers for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. LeBron James did it with the Heat and the Cavs. And then I went through a lot of numbers that are fun, and you can find these all over the place today because a lot of people are trying to make sense of what just happened.
I think I found it.
Let's hear it again.
Hey, on Saturday, I'm going to be in my sanctuary. We're going to play a game. We're going to most likely win that game, and we're going to celebrate on Sunday.
The most likely win that game is my favorite part about it. He has to catch himself.
I got that from July. It's getting close. July 21st, 2014. So that was a preseason interview.
Well, I think they were.
Hey, on Saturday, I'm going to be in my sanctuary. We're going to play a game. We're going to most likely win that game, and we're going to celebrate on Sunday.
The part about it is he's about to just say we're going to win that game, but then he most likely win that game. He tries to offer just the slightest amount of respect for the opponent. Let me just, I'll give him a fighting chance.
Hey, on Saturday, I'm going to be in my sanctuary. We're going to play a game. We're going to most likely win that game, and we're going to celebrate on Sunday.
Caught himself, man. Caught himself. All right, speaking of which, Florida State is going to play a baseball game tomorrow night, 7 o'clock against Arkansas. I think most likely lose that game.
Oh.
But it's freaking baseball. You can't put, all your eggs in that basket. It's a baseball game, man.
What a kick to the boys.
If Drew Parrish goes out and deals, that's a very big ballpark. Might help mitigate the power that Arkansas brings to the table. Unfortunately, it probably mitigates some of our power as well. So it'll be about pitching and defense.
They don't play great defense either.
No, they don't. We don't play good defense. So, all right, it's a wash, Tom.
Okay.
We're going to bet on the Magic.
Who has more unearned bases?
Bases or runs?
No,
just
total them up.
Bases?
Total them up. That's going to give you a good idea of who wins this ball game.
Well, the key will be not to have too many balls hit over there to third against us.
Is it tough love Cameron time on a Friday before the College World Series?
Well, we had a double play ball.
That is a beleaguered look on your face.
Well, I think about him playing third, and
You're worried about second, too.
Oh, well, no, listen, there's no lie. We're just trying to hide Nander Desadas on the regular, whether he's at the plate, in the field. I mean, by the time we left Baton Rouge, I was like, good God, we got out of here alive, starting Nander Desadas every day. It felt like we were hanging on by a thread by the time that thing ended. I was like, because the ball will find you. And he has become a kid who I think will be very, very good. It's important that I say that before I rip him. He's going to be very good. But he hit that wall, and he's
most likely not getting up from that wall.
He's not. He needs the offseason. He needs – now, not that many games left.
You never know.
Hang in there, Nander.
One blooper could change everything.
Well, I don't expect anything from him at the plate ever. So if you get it, like if he gets hit or walks, you just celebrate because you're rolling that lineup over. And that's all we were doing by the time we left Baton Rouge. When we got to that, once we got past 4, I went, let's hurry up and get to the top of the order here. You just couldn't wait to get back to Salvatore because you couldn't trust that anybody else was going to get a hit.
Well, hopefully, obviously tomorrow, Reese Albert is snapped out of whatever the funk is.
The 5-strikeout funk.
Because he and Mendoza both have the power to leave Ameritrade.
You know, one thing to say about that, and I doubt that there's, the scouts for Arkansas are listening to the Jeff Cameron show this afternoon, so I'm not giving up too much here. But the problem you have with Reese is if any of our opponents, including Arkansas, understand the situation, you cannot throw him a pitch in. You throw a pitch in, he does what he does with it, like he did against LSU. But he's got that shoulder brace, and he's got that bad shoulder. He's in a lot of pain. When you watch him take walks around after a swing on a pitch away, that's because he's biting his tongue. He is in agony. He's fighting through it. It's the same problem he's had all year long why he's missed time.
Yeah.
So he's fighting through it. He can't get to that ball away and put anything on it. I am amazed at how many of our teams – now, this is college baseball. Guys miss.
Yes.
And that's what you have to realize.
They can miss by 3 feet.
And they do. In pro baseball, he wouldn't see a pitch on the inner half. He wouldn't see a pitch middle. He would see nothing but away, and they take their chances that at worst he slaps one the other way for a single. But he's not going to hit for any power away because it hurts him. It really hurts to extend. And that at-bat, the 11-pitch, all the foul balls is heroic because what he did was set up the mistake by staying alive. And he had to foul some pitches that were away, breaking pitches that were away, and it hurt him. And he walked around, and then he got a pitch he could do something with, a fastball in, and he pissed on it. And that thing is still going. I wonder, does he see a single pitch inner half from Arkansas? I mean, surely they've watched that film and gone, my man is wearing a brace underneath his jersey.
I don't know that they'll call for one, if that's what you're saying, if you want to study where the catcher sets up.
Yeah.
But he might get one.
But what I fear is you can negate him right now because of that injury. And now maybe the week off, maybe, cortisone shot, all that stuff, you get him right, and he's got another run in him.
PCP.
You got to do what you got to do, Tom. This is for the College World Series. You got to take what you got to take. Cortisone shot, PCP, whatever it might be.
Little cocktail.
But you got your way through here, okay? But if you negate him in our lineup, buddy, we got problems. And I'm not trying to be doom and gloom, but you really are talking about 3 to 4 effective hitters in the lineup at that point. That said, come right back at me if you're listening to this and say, everybody hit against Georgia, Jeff. Everybody hit against Georgia, and they have a frontline guy that everybody thinks the world of, and they tattooed him. And you're right about that.
And Georgia had good success against LSU and Arkansas this year.
Yeah, and you're right about that. And so that is the counter. We were leaking oil a little bit by the time we walked out of Baton Rouge. It shows an awful lot of chutzpah and what for and all the other phrases I like to use when talking about teams that are just tough, mentally tough, to win those 2 games when basically we had a lot of automatic outs down at the bottom of that lineup. Just a bunch of automatic outs. Nobody was going to get hit. And if they did, it was like that's baseball hit. It wasn't like rocketed into the gap or anything like that. So, they needed this time. They needed this downtime. Let's see where they're at when we get out there.
I think the funny thing here is it's closer to the LSU situation where both teams are just as hungry as the other. Arkansas trying to right the wrongs. So they're coming in. They're not looking at us. They're trying to look through us, and we're trying to look through Arkansas because they're just the next team in the way. So sometimes teams walk in with different mindsets. think both these teams are going to come in here pretty free and angry.
Arkansas is on a mission to right the wrong, as you alluded to. Everybody remembers a year ago that you have an outfielder overrun a foul ball or else they're winning the championship. Next thing that happens, a couple singles and a bomb, and they are on to the next night, and they lose the College World Series championship. That would eat at you forevermore. It's the kind of thing that, I remember a wild pitch against Florida State in the College World Series. This was our luck in the 90s. That hit the backstop and came right back to the catcher. Right back to the catcher on one hop, and we were gunned by 7 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if that ball goes a little left, little right, no, it went one hop, right back to the catcher. And I went, of course it did. And if you're Arkansas, of course he overran that foul ball. You've been looking for this championship forever.
Which is why if we're down 1 or 2 and you get to the 9th inning, it's not over yet. Leadoff walk, now they all start to feel it. They're out there in the field going, ooh. Geez.
Are we going to choke again?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not wrong. I mean, these two clubs will have a little weight, but they're also playing pretty free. I think we're playing real free. Ira's column this week about the chip goes with them. The chip on the shoulder goes with them. Good. Use what you got to use, man. It's just like Brooks. Use whatever you got to use. If you believe it, and if we can stay in that place, more power to us. I don't know.
I hope it's a Chip Baker-sized chip on their shoulder.
It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men on a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Not all vehicles will qualify for maximum discount. Must finance with GM Financial. Plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and dealer admin charge. See dealer for details.
With a roster full of young superstars, the sky's the limit for the 2019 Atlanta Braves, and we'll bring you every huge moment.
Acuna running out of room on the warning track, leaping, made the catch. What a play by Acuna.
Atlanta Braves baseball on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you by Fonville, Lewis, Messer & McConaughey, Bagel Market Bistro, and by Early Trucking Company in Arlington, Georgia.
Make Edwin Watts Golf the place to shop for dads and grads with their summer savings sale happening now. Score a 50% bonus trade-in on your old clubs towards the purchase of a Titleist TS2 or TS3 driver. And measure your distance with Bushnell GPS and rangefinders and save up to $70. Choose from the Phantom, the Hybrid, or the Tour V4 Shift. Edwin Watts Golf is your place to shop for the hottest golf gear this summer. Edwin Watts, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Napa know-how. How does Napa bring you the best deals on things like an Evercraft 26-piece screwdriver set with storage rack? The old switcheroo. Take the regular price, $41.99, switch around the digits, and wham, now just $14.99. Grab your Evercraft screwdriver set for $14.99 before the price switcheroo's back. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer ends 6/30/19.
I'm Michael Blank, attorney with the law office of Jose Fernandez. If you've been in an accident, I know this can be a scary and confusing time. Our firm specializes in handling all types of accident and injury cases. Let us guide you through the process and get you the compensation you deserve. Call 855-HOSE-305 to make an appointment for your free consultation today. If you can't come to us, we can come to you, day or night. Call us now, 855-HOSE-305, the law office of Jose Fernandez. We don't get paid unless you do. Offices, Tallahassee, Miami. Se habla español. JRFinjury.com.
And we're back with another edition of Spring Cleaning. Today, we want to know how you save energy, water, and money during a warmer season. Caller, you're on the air. What do you do to save energy?
With the warmer temperature, I know my AC is working overtime, so I make sure to replace my AC filter once a month.
Excellent suggestion. Next caller, you're on the air.
Well, the city of Tallahassee recommends that I take advantage of their grants and loans to get more insulation in my attic. That's really going to keep my cooling costs down.
These are some great suggestions. There are lots of ways to save. Caller, you're on the air.
I reduce energy for water heating by lowering my water heater temperature and installing low-flow shower heads.
We have time for one more caller. What do you have for us?
I make sure to use my programmable thermostat to regulate the temperature in my home when I'm away.
Thank you, caller. That's all the time we have today.
The City of Tallahassee Utilities would like to help you save as much energy as you can and save money while you're at it. Visit talgov.com for more information and start saving energy today.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
When are we going to laugh at the fact that we are a very rich country and the way that we fly, our airplane bathrooms are the world's most disgusting thing? Like that we're not doing better there in 2019.
Are you talking about just like it's a real estate issue with you because you're a bigger dude?
Well, but it's not just a real estate issue with me. It's how about you not make it this tiny box because you put so many seats on top of each other and squeezed every dollar out of every customer that anyone of any size is going to be uncomfortable in that flying porta potty.
Have you ever been in one when there's bad turbulence? Whoa, there's some serious life evaluation that's going on there.
But Dan, you fly FC, so I'm surprised
I'm telling you, it's awful there too.
I'm surprised they don't have a full.
It's not only awful there; it's unacceptable. Like if I'm paying that much, give me a better bathroom. Damn it,
FC.
I know exactly what he was talking. That's my language.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Big store pricing with local service. Online at ctf.nu.
Good news. There you go, Brooks Koepka, getting it to 4 under.
Throwing his hat back in the ring.
Yeah, buddy. Especially Rose coming back at -7. And that's a yank left. Off the tee into the gallery, I think. Oh.
For whom, Rosie?
Yeah. Just yanked it left on number 6.
What channel are you watching?
Watching the
you got the Fox broadcast on?
I do.
I got featured groups on.
Yeah, no, he just yanked it left, and he has a look on his face that says, "What in the world is going on?"
Well, because he ended up being the closest of Woods, Spieth, and himself on number 4 after he put it into the water, and he still missed the putt. So karma might be catching up to Rosie here. Well, he took 22 putts yesterday, and that's because he missed all the fairways and greens there were.
Well, Tiger missed everything. What, 9 of 18, and still was in there at -1.
God. That
scrambling the 30-footer.
Yes, at 14, because that is a terribly played hole. I mean, he was ready to lose his you-know-what.
Nails a 30-footer.
In a special way for him because he nuked it over the green into, like, the walking area for the next tee box.
Yeah. He didn't play all that well yesterday and still walked away at -1 because he was a scrambling Jesse. Tough break watching that last night with Klay Thompson. Suffered a torn ACL in his left knee. That was confirmed. He's a tough dude. Walking back out there to shoot the free throws. He has what looked to be a breakaway dunk. Danny Green goes up with him. Nothing dirty about the play whatsoever. But when he grabbed his knee the way that he did, you knew that wasn't good. I was hoping he could continue to play through it. You know, had they continued to play this series, say Steph hits that 3, which you can argue he probably should have. I should have. He had a good look.
He also had a good one coming up the court. Running up the court with the ball as a pull-up 3.
Yeah, he had a couple good looks there. But anyhow, if he hits that, and that injury is what it is for Klay, Toronto's winning this series either way. They would have smoked, I believe, Golden State in Game 7 back in Toronto. But as it were, they ended it anyhow, and 114-110 finishes off the series 4-2. And I did. My opinion of Golden State improved as that series went on and as the season came to a close here. There's some tougher guys on that team than maybe we realized. Really tough guys. And that includes Steph, who had to do almost everything for a stretch. Same for Klay, who I really like Klay a lot.
Yeah, well, he's
a stud.
He's a stud. He's got his own moments where he wants to pound his chest, but he kind of goes about it. And he'll scream you down before he starts screaming at the fans to get up or, to sit down. He's very intense, but he's just one of those guys who is incredibly efficient. And so while, Curry and KD get the love, and even Draymond, he takes more headlines because he wants them. Clay is, you lean on that guy.
Yeah, he's as good a two-guard as there is in the league. Not only does he hit shots, but he plays aggressive defense. He slashes, gets in the lane. He's a tough matchup for everybody. I hated to see that injury. But the reason I say that, it's not that I didn't have respect for Golden State. I had immense respect for the dynasty that they've created and the run they've been on. But it's been easy to overlook them the last couple of years because when you have a Durant added to a superstar a lot already, you kind of roll your eyes. And now we know that's the group you have to see somebody rise up and beat. But a lot of their guys played through injury. Looney, before finally succumbing to it, played through immense pain with you break your collarbone, that hurts, man. That really, you can't play basketball trying to raise your arms up with that. He had that and the chest contusion issue, and he played through a lot of that. Iguodala has been hurt for a while, and he played through all of that. Obviously, Cousins coming back now. He is what he is, but he was somewhat ineffective in this series. Had the one great game, but he's still not right with the quad contusion and all the problems he's had with his ankles and feet. Quinn Cook played through injury. Livingston was as a shell of himself. A lot of guys played a lot of minutes that required ignoring pain.
Yeah, and that was why the point that Mark Jackson made last night was on point when he said you're just looking at championship culture and DNA. And that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Is in those situations, the guys still battle, and they really had a point-blank chance to win that basketball game last night. And you never know in a one-off game. But still, even with Clay going down.
Well, you're right, by the way. Had it gone 7, the one way Golden State could win is championship pedigree and Toronto beginning to feel like they let 2 in a row slip away.
Right.
And now you got to make it happen.
Well, you got a nervous feeling in the building. The whole country is worried about it.
Let this happen. Right.
It happens to the hockey franchises. It would be weird if it happened to the baseball one. But if you're, going on 30 years almost without winning a championship as a country in the major sports, you might feel that a little bit if you're down 10 in the first quarter because Steph Curry comes out and hits his first three-pointers.
Just goes nuts or something like that, or Draymond's feeling it.
Well, if Draymond was feeling it from 3, I think would have been.
Then you go like, okay, there may have enough bullets in the chamber.
There was a lot to unpack last night, even before Clay got hurt, and then after it kind of, obviously, for obvious reasons, it stole the storyline. But he had 30 points when he gets hurt. That's the most amazing part of it.
He was great. Yeah, and you're right. There is a lot to unpack. Lowry plays awesome, kind of shifts his reputation in these playoffs.
He comes out, he's your starter.
But think about him in the playoffs in general. He had that one shaky game against the Sixers, and we all kind of raised our eyebrow like, man, are we back to this? And then he came right back and was terrific. And he really played well throughout the postseason. And you're right. Obviously Kawhi is the superstar that we all knew him to be, and he answered that resoundingly so. He is now put himself in that group, that rarefied air. Whenever you talk about postseason performances, you're going to bring him up.
And Draymond was a vacuum cleaner around the rim. It wasn't until the last few minutes that I could remember a jumper that was missed by Toronto that they got a second chance off of. They might have gotten some tips, but an actual jumper, Draymond was absurd around the rim last night.
Draymond's a weird player. He just is a weird player in that he can do things for his size that most people his size can't do. So on the one hand, you look at that and you go, man, you think about a couple of their championships where he was just a freak. His shooting has suffered in the last year and a half. He's not the shooter he was during those runs. He has these games where when you look at the box score, you go, my man had 19 rebounds and 10 points, and you're like, this is on a team where you're just a compliment. That's amazing. Thanks for the 30-plus turnovers in 6 games. He's just a weird.
Yes.
Think about him with the.
Well, the Quinn Cook pass down the stretch, that's on Draymond. There's no way that Quinn Cook is supposed to peel back.
No.
That's not a play.
It's definitely on Draymond. He turns it over. Golden State's always gotten away with this, though. Steph turns it over, too. They turn it over.
Oh, and he freaked out when Clay got. It's a human moment, but, he freaked out. There was the first play he made was trying to dribble through the double team. You're like, dude, calm down.
Well, the key with him and the one drawback to, a superstar player of that size, we bring this up a lot, if your best player is a guard, and he wasn't their best player when KD was playing, but is that you can run guys at him. You can run guys, especially the smallish types like him. You can run guys at him, and Toronto did that in this series. They ran guys at him all the time to get the ball out of his damn hands.
One thing I was surprised about, and I had a conspiracy theory that a lot of whistles were going to go Golden State's way. It really didn't happen. Got to give credit to the officials. It was kind of down the middle, and I thought, frankly, when Kawhi had 4 fouls, he got away with 2 or 3 possessions in the half court that I was shocked.
Well,
that they did
that's
not
when
blow
you,
the whistle.
yeah, but that's when you're a superstar player. You know, they're not trying to go out of their way to foul out the best player on the floor.
Well, but on the road,
I think I've always thought your upper crust, creme de la creme player, he's going to get calls no matter what. It's everybody else that kind of is subject to the home and away thing. If you're Kevin Durant, you get the benefit of the doubt. If you're Kawhi Leonard, you get the benefit of the doubt. If you're Steph, you get the benefit of the doubt. If you're, a guy who's a pain in the ass to officials, you don't. And if you're a role player, Van Vliet ain't going to get the benefit of the doubt.
Well, yeah, and Draymond didn't get the call when he got the waist pull from Lowry. That was a really weird play where he just kind of grabbed his waist and was giving him a full Nelson or something. I don't know.
You know what the weirdest call of the postseason was, and a lot of people talked about this subsequently. I read no fewer than 4 articles on this, was the moving screen in the game before against Cousins, which he was guilty of, but they never called.
No.
You never called. In that situation, you never call that, and they did call it. It was an overt moving screen. I mean, he threw his ass out there.
No, but you make that call like Bogut when he comes in and the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, you don't do that there, but they did do it there. Maybe it's just because Cousins is so big. If he throws his ass at you, that's a lot of ass to get around.
Guy,
it's a monster of a man.
I mean, he made one really key drive to the basket. His free throws, obviously down the stretch, weren't great. That's a tough situation for him to be in. The fact that they're counting on him for that much is totally unfair.
Well, it just speaks to the injuries they had. I mean, he's not. You wouldn't, in a perfect situation, you wouldn't have him playing all those minutes. He hurt them more than he helped them by a lot. He had that one great game where they couldn't figure out the pick and roll. And then they shut that down, and then after that he was
like a dude who'd been off for 2 months.
Then he looked like a guy who couldn't keep up with the speed of the game. He was out of position. There were lapses on defense. They took advantage when they drew him away. They took advantage of him. He just looked like a fish out of the water. You're like, oh, dude, you're about to get schooled. This is not good. He's thought it too. Like, what am I doing out here? This isn't good. This guy's gonna dribble past me, or he's gonna shoot at my face because I have to lag. That sucks. It's Jeff Garrett Show.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
On television. Once the game was over, he came down the tunnel and wanted to go on the court to celebrate with his team. But because it was a trophy presentation situation and because it was the visiting team winning, there was new security procedures in place and new credentials required. Now, this is standard procedure in the NBA. Masai did not have that credential. The officer there who was part of an increased security presence around the court did not know who he was.
The sheriff's office says Ujiri pushed the officer twice, the second time making contact with his face. This all happening while Ujiri may be about to get a big money offer from the Washington Wizards. Owner Ted Leonsis is expected to ask permission to talk with Ujiri about a contract that would include an ownership stake in the team. Texas and Texas A&M will meet on the basketball court December 8th. They'll play at a neutral site in Fort Worth. It'll be only the second meeting since the Aggies left the Big 12 for the SEC 7 years ago. From hockey, the Islanders re-signed winger Jordan Eberle to a new 5-year contract worth more than $27 million.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Hardee's used to think bowls were useless dishware. Then we created the new Loaded Hash Round Bowl. Crispy potatoes, fluffy eggs, sausage gravy, melted cheddar, and crumbled bacon. Now part of our 2 for $4 mix and match deal. No longer are bowls just college football games you can nap to. Now they're loaded with Hardee's delicious breakfast favorites and in our 2 for $4 mix and match. Try a bowl today. They're actually really useful. Arby's because it tastes better.
Available for a limited time during regular breakfast hours at participating restaurants. Tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
Hurricane Michael was not kind to many of our homes and businesses. As I ride through Tallahassee, the blue tarps and missing shingles are abundantly visible. While a few missing shingles may seem like minimal damage, I assure you they are not. Leaks can occur, causing wood decay, interior damage, or mold growth within your home or business. We specialize in storm damages and insurance claims. Let us get your roof back to shedding water, not leaking water. Call us today. We can help. At T-Spark Enterprises, we conquer all peaks.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
We're back with a state champion. That's right, a state champion head coach. His name is Titus Nixon. He is the basketball coach at St. John Paul II Catholic High School. Coach, how long have you been involved with athletics at JP2?
So I've been involved for 8 years as a coach. I was an assistant, and then 2 years as the girls basketball coach. And then I just completed my 5th year as the boys basketball coach. I also spent my junior and senior years as a student at JP2 in the early years of the school's beginning.
What does it say, though, about the culture of an institution that you graduate from there almost 15 years ago, but here you are still spending your time back at that school?
I think it says a lot. The fact that my wife didn't graduate from JP2, but we both felt drawn back to help in some way. And we weren't even living in Tallahassee, and we always had this thought of, man, it would be so neat if I could go back and help in some way. And when I was named the coach 5 years ago, it was very special, and people thought I was crazy when I said in 5 years we're going to win a state championship. Maybe even I thought I was a little crazy, and it was just so cool to see the program develop over these last 5 years. And we've seen that in many of the sports at JP2. We have so many committed coaches, so many committed teachers that really lay it all on the line day in and day out to try to provide a great atmosphere and a lifelong positive experience for these students in their high school years.
Coach, thanks for your time. For more information about athletics, academics, student life, visit sjpiichs.org for St. John Paul II Catholic High School.
Napa know-how.
How does Napa bring you the best deals on things like an Evercraft 26-piece screwdriver set with storage rack? The old switcheroo. Take the regular price, $41.99, switch around the digits, and wham, now just $14.99. Grab your Evercraft screwdriver set for $14.99 before the price switcheroo's back. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer ends 6/30/19.
Hendrick.
We're celebrating the Hendrick Summer Sales Event all month long at the all-new Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet. Shop over 300 new Chevrolet cars, trucks, and SUVs right here on Tennessee Street, or find new roads at DaleJuniorChevy.com.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday, brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachie Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
All right, so we had a winner for this particular session. We're going to announce that now, Tom. We're just going to do the call behind the scenes. You want to make that public for our Orange Theory giveaway?
We could. I mean, somebody wants to be Cameron Show famous.
Man, their lives are forever changed at that point, though. I don't know if everybody wants to welcome all that kind of intrusion into their lives.
Yeah, here comes TMZ and the like.
On the regular, you got people camping outside the house. All right, so we do want you to know, certainly we appreciate everybody who entered with an opportunity to win 10 free classes at Orange Theory Fitness, where I work out, and really made a difference in my life, and I think you'll enjoy it. So I was excited about this giveaway. We're going to do this more than once. So we're going to do this 3 times. over the coming weeks. But this will end this particular session where you could enter to win. And next week is when you can come by and pick it up. But we compile all of those. Tom has a random number generator. That,
2 witnesses.
Yeah, creates a situation where it's totally on the up and up, and we pull the name, and who won it?
Congratulations. I'll use your last name, first initials, sir. So, Kevin D. Congratulations to Kevin D.
But what if there's what if like
there's a couple of guys, like there's Kevin Douglas and Kevin.
Yeah.
All right.
You can
fine.
say his name. I don't
Kevin
think he's going to be
Darden. Congratulations, Kevin.
Kevin Darden.
KLD Biz. What's going on?
So, Kevin, you win. Hopefully your friends, maybe you're listening. Don't know, but either way, you've won. We'll contact you behind the scenes there and make sure you know that you've won and your opportunity to come by next week and pick up the prize, and we'll tell you where you can and what you can do. That's good stuff.
You, sir, are luckier than Molinari on the 8th hole at Pebble, where he just doubled to drop down from -5 to -3.
Who did?
Molinari.
Yeah.
He was up there in the stratosphere.
Yeah, old Molinari is a really good player, and we kind of sometimes forget that. And then all of a sudden you look up, you're like, there he is, kicking ass.
I mean, that he was at 5 was a testament to his scrambling game, much like Justin Rose, because in the front 9 this morning, which was actually 10 through 18 for these players, he was awful to start.
Yeah, the more difficult of the 9 is that back 9, that 10 through 18. Yeah, or 9 through 18. Yeah, I look at this starting to shape up exactly as we wanted. Brooks is within a couple shots. He's going to be there on the weekend. It's going to be interesting. El Tigre can't make a putt.
I'm telling you, he just needs a green reader. I know Joe LaCava was a caddy before Tiger. Like, he was a PGA-level caddy, and Tiger, when they won the Masters, he said, we did it because he wanted it for Joe a lot.
It's just age, man. I think it's age.
You need somebody with eyes. Got to have somebody with some eyes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
You think it's in his hands because of the nerve?
I think it's just age. And that's what leaves you, man. The consistency of putting performance leaves you.
Will Tiger ever go to the claw grip or some modified type of putter?
No. Too much pride.
He better not, right?
Well, especially the modified putter part. I could deal with going with the claw. There are plenty of people who have done that. Good golfers that have done it and had success doing it. Adam Scott improved over 100 spots in strokes gained putting this year on the tour. The rest of his game has always been magnificent. If he can make putts, he wins.
At the PGA last year, he had 2 putters in the bag.
Ooh, waving a white flag.
But he was in the final group with Brooks.
But I'm saying, that guy's too good, right? He has always hit the ball. His swing's the nicest on tour. And if he could just make putts, he wins tournaments, or certainly has a chance to. People ought not be able to improve a putting statistic to that degree. He's gained, I think I read, 122 spots. He's in the top 30 on the PGA Tour in strokes gained putting. And, obviously he putts like a guy that's desperate. All that crazy flippity-doo.
Yeah. It's interesting physical motion. But yes.
I mean, it's silliness. I mean, but he does.
He putts like a head case, put it that way.
But when they start going in, look at Phil. Phil's had these moments, too, where, the way he switched. Actually, Phil has 2 different putting strokes during the same round.
Huh.
He does it all the time. If he's within 15 feet.
Well, I know about the moving one. When the ball's moving, he's got that one.
That's when he's mad at the USGA. No. So he has one that he uses the claw with, and then one standard based on distance from the hole.
So since I was watching a lot of featured groups yesterday, and the morning I didn't watch as much as the evening rounds, did you see that he missed a 1.5 footer?
Ooh.
They showed that on Golf Channel every hour on the hour that he missed one. That was his one highlight. They rapid fire because there's so many. This is the best part about golf these days is there are so many big names, so many compelling stories, and so many people that people want to know about. That Phil's one highlight from live at the U.S. Open today on Golf Channel was that he missed an 18-inch putt.
And he's good on POA. That's crazy. Can I give a stat as we round out the hour? Because I'm finding all of these cool stats today about how to really summarize the postseason run that Kawhi Leonard went on with Toronto in 23 games. And since 1984, credit to the Ringer, since 1984, the statistical company Kawhi keeps among first season with a team players, so it's his first year in Toronto, is astounding. During that time frame, here's the ranking of players who tallied the most playoff win shares in their debut campaigns with the franchise heading into 2018-2019. Charles Barkley with the Suns in 1993. Kevin Garnett. We're tired this week. We're just tired, folks. Kevin Garnett, 2008.
One guy was the franchise. The other joined a franchise.
Kevin Garnett in 2008 with the Celtics. LeBron James in 2011 with the Heat. By the way, I would not have guessed this one. Dikembe Mutombo, 2001 with the 76ers.
Whoa.
Chauncey Billups, 2009 with the Nuggets. Kevin Durant, 2017 with the Warriors. Ray Allen in 2008 with the Celtics, and now Kawhi Leonard in that group.
So
win shares is an advanced metric, and we're only looking at guys in their first year with the team.
LeBron with the Heat.
Mm-hmm.
2011? That's almost 10 years ago already.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about, right? 2011. These are the most legendary playoff runs. Kawhi Leonard's numbers, which if you know that statistic is measured like you'll see 3.1, 4.2. These are win shares, right? He had a 4.9. It's the best ever for the first year with a team. It's crazy. It's the best ever.
It's crazy.
You could go back and look at I'm laughing at this too, by the way. Talk about a trip down memory lane. You forget about certain players that had these runs in the postseason that really went on to do not much afterwards. James Posey with the 08 Celtics going nuts. Remember James Posey?
He could defend.
He could defend.
He could defend. And then every once in a while, he'd get hot from three.
Remember Tim Thomas with the Suns in 06? Is that pushing the envelope a little bit too much?
That's the era I did not watch.
Oh, I'll tell you one you will remember. Damon Jones with the Heat. Remember him in 05?
Yes. Yeah, I watched that with show contributor Chris.
Right.
Yep. That was the Shaq year, Shaq and Wade.
Rodney Rogers, 02 Celtics. Vague.
No chance. No,
chance.
Once you get past the lockout shortened season with the Spurs and the Knicks, where the Spurs won, we knew the Lakers were going to win. So there was just this black hole of ISO ball.
So rental players and points per game in their first year with the team in the playoffs, he shattered that record. I mean, you go back to guys like Xavier McDaniel, who I used to love when he was with Seattle. Xavier McDaniel was a beast. He was bald. He'd dunk on your ass. He'd fight you. I loved him. But he went to your Knicks in 92.
Okay, so this is when I'm first watching.
He averaged 18.8 points per game. There was Jarrett Jack with the Warriors. Jack was a good player, yeah. Lamar Odom with the Heat.
Odom.
Nate Robinson with the Bulls. Forgot about him. You won't remember Danny Manning with the Hawks.
No, but I do remember that every time Wake Forest is on the television,
they bring it up.
That's all they talk about because they got nothing else to bring up.
Yeah, he was a good player. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Staring at you, taunting. No more. That's right. More watching, less washing. Save hours of valuable time when you sign up not doing laundry with Easy Laundry Service from Wash Around the Clock. Whether it's dry cleaning or just plain laundry, Wash Around the Clock's Easy Laundry Service will pick up and deliver at your home or office. So sign up for free today at easylaundry.net, or you can give them a call, 850-597-9007. Again, sign up today at easylaundry.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Look around. That's right, you see Nissans everywhere. Tallahassee has officially become a Nissan town, the Kraft Nissan town. Why? Because Kraft Nissan has the best pricing, best selection, and the best buying experience in town. And at Kraft Nissan, you get the best value for your dollar. With more standard features, our exclusive and the original lifetime warranty, our easy choice menu that gives you a price and payment in writing, our New For You program that helps people with damaged credit, and every new Altima and Rogue we sell has both special interest rates and rebates. You get both, plus $1,000 over Kelley Blue Book for your trade. Best of all, my people are the best in the business. They will greet you with a smile and a handshake, and they know your time is valuable. My managers are always accessible, and of course, you can always ask for me or my brother Peter. Bottom line, if you need a new or pre-owned car, you need to experience the Kraft Nissan difference. Great people, great product, great price, with the best car buying experience in town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less. Exciting news for you loyal Florida State fans. Now you can show your Seminole pride plus get 15% off all regular priced FSU merchandise during Team Tuesdays. Remember to stop by any Garnet and Gold store location on Team Tuesdays and take 15% off all regular priced FSU apparel. It's that easy during Team Tuesdays at Garnet and Gold. If you're a Seminole, we're your store. Shop local and go Noles.
Stop by Garnet and Gold's 3 Tallahassee locations or garnetandgold.com. 2019 Nike Coaches apparel has now arrived. Visit Garnet and Gold's 3 Tallahassee locations or garnetandgold.com.
On demand and live streaming. The all-new WTSM app. Download for iPhone or Android today.
Not only does this taste well, if you're at Bumpa's Local 349, first of all, just saying the word lavash is awesome. It also tastes great because what it is it's topped with olive oil and garlic and Havarti cheese and Parmesan, and it's just damn delicious. But I just, more than anything else, I'm glad it's good, because if it wasn't, I'd be so sad, because I'd want to say lavash. When they come over and they say, what do you want? I go, lavash! You know, listen, the menu's got burgers, it's got wings, it's got salads, it's got pastas, it's got ribs, it's got all the good stuff. It's got a bologna sandwich. It's got a bologna sandwich.
The penne alla vodka. This is interesting.
That's
now.
Damn tasty.
It is damn tasty. It's not something that I'm picky when I eat.
You are.
My pop is a huge fan of penne alla vodka, and he says you got to have it done just
perfect.
right.
Theirs is perfect.
The reputation for that has made it into 3 different conversations I've been involved in over the last 2 months in Tallahassee. It's ridiculous.
Bumpa's Local 349. Good food, good people. Go see them. They're on Capitol Circle. Good stuff.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio. WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. The president of the new NBA champion Toronto Raptors, Masai Ujiri, is now being investigated by the Alameda County Sheriff's Office for possible misdemeanor battery on a police officer. More details from ESPN's Brian Windhorst.
This is an unfortunate development. Masai watched the end of the game from the tunnel outside the Raptors locker room on television. Once the game was over, he came down the tunnel and wanted to go on the court to celebrate with his team. But because it was a trophy presentation situation and because it was the visiting team winning, there was new security procedures in place and new credentials required. Now, this is standard procedure in the NBA. Masai did not have that credential. The officer there, who was part of an increased security presence around the court, did not know who he was.
The sheriff's office says Ujiri pushed the officer twice, the second time making contact with his face. This all happening while Ujiri may be about to get a big money offer from the Washington Wizards. Owner Ted Leonsis is expected to ask permission to talk with Ujiri about a contract that would include an ownership stake in the team. Texas and Texas A&M will meet on the basketball court December 8th. They'll play at a neutral site in Fort Worth. It'll be only the second meeting since the Aggies left the Big 12 for the SEC 7 years ago. From hockey, the Islanders re-signed winger Jordan Eberle to a new 5-year contract worth more than $27 million.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday. Brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachia Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Little loosey-goosey edition of the program on a Libations Friday. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything. Sometimes you miss things. We'll post it to iTunes and to our own audio vault. You can find it very easily there. Did I mention that you should go read that Kellen Winslow article? Kellen Winslow Jr.?
Yeah, you said there's a lot to unpack.
Did I mention that on the air? Holy moly.
Oh, that was off the air. Yeah, that was entirely off the air.
Go read that piece yesterday from SI. By the way, he's facing a second rape trial that was just announced. He is believed to maybe be on the cusp of being charged with several more, dating back some 15 years ago. But what comes, and this is a weird lead, I know, but while I'm on the subject, go back. When you read that story, one of the things that I find increasingly annoying about all of these scandals and situations that have happened, whether it's the Michigan State situation with the doctor that was there, whether it's, any of the, obviously the Penn State thing is unbelievable, but invariably you read these articles, whether it's an individual or if it's something that's systemic in an organization, there are all of these people who come forward for these kinds of articles in these interviews that say, yeah, well, I remember one time, and they rattle off situations that any one of us would have been either A, throwing hands at the individual, or B, calling the cops.
Yeah.
Like, it gets swept under every time, but it's bizarre. It's not, listen, we're adults here. Tom Wang and I are dear friends. If Tom committed a crime in which nobody was hurt, no individual was hurt, there wasn't like a person that you wronged to a, egregious level, but rather, I don't know, I can't even think what it would be. But let's say I knew you did something wrong, something illegal. I don't know what that would be, but you didn't hurt anybody. Might I look the other way because of our friendship? Might I be like, all right, Tom, let's never do that again, but I'm not going to say anything. Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's probably accurate. So
I spray painted "Where's my autograph" on Brad Johnson's garage door.
Right. I wouldn't tell Brad in that situation. It was wrong, Tom. You shouldn't have done it. I'm aware of it, but I'm not going to tell on you because you're a dear friend. So when I hear about things like that, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's just a friend deciding to be a friend and not report his buddy for something that nobody else got hurt with. It's just whatever, okay? But these kinds of things where it is an affront to everything we've agreed to as a society. There are rules here, man. You can't do certain things, especially heinous things like, rape, without somebody immediately calling the police. Everybody knows that. Assault, I'm not talking about self-defense. I'm talking about where you just brutalize somebody because you're a bad person. You call it in. You call the cops. You lend aid to the poor bastard taking a beating. You find out about abuse to anybody, man, woman, or child. You call it in. You don't a dog, right? You call it in. And these stories, one after the other, in the Kellen Winslow Jr. case, you've got former teammates at Miami, former teammates with Cleveland, the Bucks, all these places where the players and certain administrators and in certain cases coaches overlook heinous behavior. Certainly, at the very least, in some circumstances, overlook bizarre and troubling behavior that would, at the very least, lead to a fight. Because I promise you, some of the stuff that you read in that article, the second you read it, you recoil and go, if he did that while I was standing there, and this isn't about assaulting other people, this is about inappropriate behavior in your presence. If he did that, we'd be fighting. Now, he's a big, strong man, so you'd have to come with it. But assuming these are other football players who are also big and strong, it's go time. You're not pulling out your junk in front of me and while we're staying together. You're not doing bizarre stuff like that.
That's
happening,
correct.
Tom.
That's correct.
Not without a beating. But you're reading this stuff and you're going, you didn't do anything about it. You didn't call that in. You didn't go to somebody and say, hey, look, something's wrong with Kellen. He's got some issues.
You don't think they know it and just laugh it off maybe in the college years?
Some of the stuff you have his former players and teammates saying, I didn't want to room with him. I didn't want to stay in the same hotel with him. I went to management or to the coaches or went to the organization and said, do not put me in a hotel room with him when we're on the road.
Well, it's like the kid who in Florida who transferred out.
Yeah.
Because he was saying, this is ridiculous,
guys,
man.
This guy is a predator. I will not live with this man. We got a problem. And, oh, by the way, you need to look into him. He's got issues. And they didn't do anything about it, and he transferred. And that may be the only thing that comes out of this. But Dan Mullen should be ashamed of himself. I mean, what are you doing?
That's a Title IX investigation.
That is
absolutely.
Yes, big time. And it's probably going to be one. I would think for sure. But when you read that story with the Kellen Winslow Jr. stuff, there are accounts of deeply troubling behavior that even the most objective person, the least objective person, you could be pro whatever you are, Miami, Cleveland, Tampa Bay, you would see that and go, okay, this crosses all lines. What do we do? This guy's got real problems.
Yeah, kids, not yet. You're not going to read that yet. So if anybody's in the car, even middle schoolers or high schoolers.
Look, it's in Sports Illustrated. You can read the story in Sports Illustrated. it's just it's a troubling documentation of a long series. We're talking about 15 years worth of abhorrent behavior, 15 years worth of things that make, well, hey, listen, go back and read all the Aaron Hernandez stuff where players in Florida knew. This guy's wackadoo. People in New England knew. He scared people on his own team. There were people that thought, yeah, he's capable of killing me, like shooting me.
Yeah. Oh, I think we've all met guys like that. You don't believe somebody has the conviction to follow through on being nuts. They're just nuts. And then they actually do it and you feel terrible for it.
Yeah, I've never known anybody to kill somebody, though.
You've never known somebody capable? You're like, man, if that guy.
I've known somebody who I thought, I've known people who I've thought were not certainly prone to good judgment and had temper issues.
But you never knew somebody who was kind of off, and you're like,
man,
if that guy's pushed the wrong way, he might come back with an AR-15 or something.
Yeah, I think when that happens, and this is a very modern thing here, but I would just say I was never around with somebody like that. But if the second, we all know, our spidey senses go off. You know when you're around a deeply troubled individual.
Well, it's the joke in Billy Madison. It's ahead of its time. He calls Steve Buscemi, right? And Buscemi is clearly like nuts, and he crosses off Billy Madison's name with lipstick that he was wearing off his hit list. Yeah. And then he comes in and he's at the quiz thing, and he's got the rifle. Man, am I glad I called and apologized to that guy. It's true. Yeah. I knew dudes like that in high school. I'm like, man, listen, I'm going to be nice to him because it's the right thing to do. I'm also going to be nice to him
because that guy's nuts.
In case this guy's freaking nuts and it's Columbine, he's going to leave me be.
Okay, so what I'm saying is I don't know that it rose to that level. But the stuff you read about here is enough that somewhere along the way it should have been checked. Somebody should have said, okay, well, I don't know that he's going to be a mass shooter, but I am going to tell you that he's a sexual deviant. He's got real problems controlling his urges, controlling himself around women and people that he deems to be weaker than him. And he's exhibiting behavior that is deeply troubling and it isn't going away. There are too many accounts of this that were reported and nobody did anything about it.
Yeah, he did not need libations on a Libations Friday.
No, and he didn't. He didn't need to be alone with anybody. Anyhow, it's a deeply disturbing story. It's an interesting read. It's an interesting story. Look, I used to make fun of him back in the day for his I'm a MF and Soldier rant after they lost to Tennessee and how angry he was. In retrospect, we were right to make fun of how, off the rocker he was. But I didn't know about all that other stuff, all that other stuff. And, his dad turned out to be a world-class a-hole to boot, the Hall of Famer who came here and dragged down Fort A&M's program and was delinquent in his job and did a lot of things the wrong way and got them in trouble. And so you just don't know people. That was
you could have guessed in those two cases.
But that was football royalty for the longest. I mean, that was those guys. I mean, his dad is a Hall of Famer and was as well thought of as they come. But got to meet him. He's messed up, and you knew it. And I'm not saying he's a criminal. He was an egomaniac. He was a narcissist. Can only imagine the environment that Winslow Jr. grew up in and the behaviors that were excused because of, apple didn't fall far from the tree. And it's pretty well documented in that piece in SI. It's worth your time. Weird pivot. We have a champion in the NBA, and Florida State plays baseball tomorrow night. There you go. We'll get to it momentarily. Jeff Cameron Show.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Deck. It is quite impressive. You can see it all the way from the stadium.
What a deck. What a deck indeed.
I hear that a lot.
I remember, what was it, mid-90s you opened up? Place was so small.
Now it's huge.
All I know is a lot of good times have been spent on this deck. Man, people enjoy it. They laugh, they sing, they drink, they eat, and they celebrate all the goodness of the Gordo's deck.
And you can come have a Gordo Smash.
Delicious. Sitting on the deck with a Gordo Smash. That's a good day at the office.
Or put a Cuban in your mouth.
And other food. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Hendrick.
We're celebrating the Hendrick Summer Sales Event at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC with huge savings on the hottest models, like the 2019 GMC Sierra 1500 truck, up to $12,000 off MSRP. Over 71 to choose from, just in time for summer. We are professional grade. Come see us on Capitol Circle Northeast under the giant American flag, or visit DaleJuniorGMC.com. Not all vehicles will qualify for maximum discount. Must finance with GM Financial. Plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and dealer admin charge. See dealer for details.
Hi, Chris Kraft for the all-new Infinity of Tallahassee, the newest Kraft Brothers dealership. As we get ready to break ground on the new Kraft Infinity store, Peter and I thought, why not have a founding 50 with lots of cool stuff for 50 special buyers? And when we say special benefits, we mean it. Here's just some of what you'll get. Free lifetime oil changes, free lifetime powertrain warranty, and free gas fill-up with factory-scheduled maintenance. I told you this was special, and there's more. Free car wash and loaner cars, a gold license plate frame, and a commemorative brick at our new store. Plus, my favorite, the white glove treatment with front-of-the-line service priority. It's Tallahassee's first truly VIP car buying and servicing experience. So if you're in the market for a luxury vehicle, you need to look at Infinity of Tallahassee. Seriously, no haggle pricing, and every time you come in for factory-scheduled maintenance, we change your oil for free, wash your car, and even fill it up with gas. It's Infinity of Tallahassee's founding 50, so prepare to be pampered. Infinity of Tallahassee, 3355 Capitol Circle Northeast, next to Ted's Montana Grill.
Thompson Services of Tallahassee, LLC, has been servicing the Tallahassee area for over 20 years with a variety of services from tire repair, new and used tires, changing of big truck tires, and 24-hour roadside service. Thompson Services of Tallahassee also will detail your car to perfection with wash and wax and a variety of affordable packages to have you riding nice and clean. Thompson Services of Tallahassee is located at 3014 South Adams Street, right across from Planet Fitness. Call for a convenient service appointment at 850-284-5907.
Hey, this is Jeff Doxey, representing Premier Fine Homes. I'm proud to announce Premier's newest community, Brookside Village. Brookside has the great schools you want, some larger home sites, and is conveniently located on Ox Bottom Road between Ox Bottom Manor and Moore Pond. Call or text me today at 545-4747 or email me at jeffdoxey1@gmail.com. Remember, before you buy, try me at Brookside.
Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Cool to see the pictures out in Omaha as the team is taking BP. Got the big banners on the side next to TD Ameritrade. That's always cool when you pull up. For those that haven't been out there, each team, giant photo, banner that comes down with obviously the FS logo in this case, but also pictures of players all throughout that stadium. Did you watch the MLB game there last night?
I did not, but I saw that the big shooter was up there in the booth and had some photos from behind the scenes, which was cool. I think that's a great concept to make Omaha kind of a mecca and connect the college and the pro game together.
Really smart. And in due time, something they're going to need to do is figure out that you can perhaps do the draft either before or just after the College World Series. You don't need to do it during regional week. It's the timing of that is messed up. I think in due time they're going to put this all together as a grand crescendo up in Omaha.
Yeah, I think that MLB is already there in Omaha. That means the right people are talking to make the next step happen.
Yeah. Well, you've seen, and one thing that I've really appreciated because I've watched it kind of from the ground floor, the emergence of college golf on the Golf Channel. When it first happened, now it's very niche still. I mean, obviously there aren't that many people dying to watch college golf. You and I are amongst a small few.
I freaking love it.
I do too. Here's what's good to know is the percentage of people that love it or are beginning to like it is growing rapidly. One of the ways you know this, and you don't just have to trust my opinion on it, is the amount of resources that the Golf Channel has now spent in covering the event every year, the postseason in college golf. If it weren't a ratings winner, they wouldn't do that. They're committed. They've got more cameras than ever before. If you look at some of the broadcast teams that they now allot for these events, they're the better Golf Channel announcers. Some of the better. They're not the PGA guys, but they're close.
Well, they have a multi-hour pregame broadcast and postgame broadcast. They have live from the national championships.
Well, so I bring that up because if that's possible, obviously, with college golf, and one of the reasons it is people love to root for their school, and when the PGA and in conjunction with the networks decided to start putting for some of the events, starting to put the logos of the universities that the player on the leaderboard attended, they found that there was an immediate reaction. People love to see their school's logo, obviously. Like, oh, he went to Arizona State. Oh, he went to Florida State. Oh, he went to... And you see it on the leaderboard, and you're brimming with pride. That's what kickstarted all this. Like, hey, there's something to this. I wonder if we started covering the actual college golf, would people watch? And it turned out they did. And now they're sinking a lot of money into it. We've talked to producers and had the guys, directors from behind the scenes, and they're getting more and more in the way of kind of fun little tools to bring the game to people on the Golf Channel. College baseball, I'll be very interested to see. Now, obviously, with the addition of the ACC network, there'll be plenty of college baseball on there. There already is with the SEC network, so more people are getting to see the sport. I think the overall presentation of the sport has improved because the game is much more along the lines of what you see in Major League Baseball. Gone are the days of 21-14 and things like that. I mean, it happens occasionally, but very rarely now. It used to be that's what made the sport a mockery. Now you see very frequently good games like we saw in Baton Rouge, 6-4, 5-4. You see games like that more resemble Major League Baseball. And you also see a willingness, and I've talked about this a lot, for elite high school players to choose college and know that it is a legitimate avenue to reach the pros and to reach your dreams. It used to be, I remember when Cal Ripken wrote his book, The Ripken Way, he advised, and I understand this, that no matter where you were drafted, back then when he wrote this, 20 years ago, no matter where you were drafted, always take the money, always go pro. And his thought being the sooner, if you're a hitter, for example, the sooner that you get a wooden bat in your hand, because the bats were so different than the aluminum bats that they were using in college, it was a different game altogether. And you needed to let scouts know what you were quicker, but also because it would allot you more time, afford you more time. If they take an investment on a kid back then and he's 18 years old, if you struggle at any level, say AA, say you reach AA and you really are struggling to adjust to the pitching, if you're only 19 or 20, they'll spend some time with you. You may get 3 good years in the minors before they start feeling like, he's not progressing. But if you wait and go to college and you don't start A-ball until you're 22, 23 years old, and then you struggle for a year or two in AA, you're 26, 27 years old. They're about ready to move on to Jerry over there, who's been in the minors for 5 years and is already outperforming you. So back then, that was the way they viewed that. Not anymore. Not anymore. Now it's perfectly viable for guys to go to college. They even leverage the fact that they're going to go to college, and we've seen a lot of players go to college. There's a 20-year anniversary team, which I'll talk about coming up, where you look at all of these names. It's a who's who in Major League Baseball that went to college, that went to some of these smaller colleges, but also big names, and played for 3 and 4 years.
I wonder, too, if that means that the interactions in the last few years between MLB scouts and college coaches have
improved.
Have they?
I would think.
Because, some of these kids, the Mets had changed their approach. Everybody watches their own team, but the Mets had changed their approach, and they like college bats if they can get their hands on them because they're further along in the development process.
And it's not such a disparate set of numbers that they're looking at. It used to be a guy could hit 30 home runs in college, and he had nothing more than maybe single-digit power in the pros. He wasn't close.
2 of the 4 guys in the heart of the Mets lineup are college hitters. One everybody knows because he killed us, and Pete Alonso. He was Peter Alonso at the time. And Michael Conforto was out at Oregon State kicking ass for the Beavers. And Benny the Beaver loved him.
Yeah.
And now those 2 guys are batting second, somewhere in the middle of the Mets lineup, and they graduated up the system really, really quickly. So I wonder if MLB scouts or organizations respect what hitting coaches do at the collegiate level a little bit more.
I will say this. Certainly pro coaches, if you ascend to that position, believe, and it's natural to do so, that you offer more than a college coach offers. But I think the degree to which they look down on college coaches has changed greatly. It used to be like, well, that's very collegial. That wouldn't work up here.
Maybe not with pitching, but maybe with hitting approach.
Well, even pitching, I would say there are select people, unfortunately. The University of Florida certainly falls in this category. Sully is known as a pitching guru, and these guys that say yes to Florida and turn down $3 and $4 million, frustratingly so, they're still getting drafted. They're still getting picked up with the quickness when they finish, and they get ushered through very quickly. So they must respect what he does. There are some select coaches out there that they do respect in that regard. Why did I bring this up? Well, I bring this up because much in the same way that we saw college golf grow quickly, I think that we're probably close to seeing the popularity of college baseball spike again. It went through this stage once before, then it kind of leveled off, and I think you'll see it grow because they got to have content for all these network stations. All these, conference network shows.
Well, I think by default, too, live sports is just going to be looked to more. It's going to be given more chances to fail because they know sitcoms don't do it anymore, man. No. They just don't. Reality TV, people DVR all these things. Mm-hmm. They don't sit down and watch and watch through the commercials for anything but sports.
It's all live sports, baby. I can't think of too many network shows I watch.
HBO, I know they did the Starbucks thing, and I have a conspiracy theory that was maybe an intentional gaffe, and maybe Starbucks gave them some cash for it. I know what you're talking about.
HBO
could have put commercials. I know it's not what they're about, but they could have because people set appointments by Game of Thrones. Other than that, sports and Game of Thrones in the last 10 years.
Don't give them any ideas. That's the last bastion of goodness on TV is HBO. Do not do that. I will be so pissed. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
America, we purchased over 100 Jeep Renegades, and they've all arrived and are on the lot for immediate delivery. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude with MSRP starting at $25,120. On sale now for $18,870. That's a savings of $6,250. A new Jeep starting at only $18,870. Those prices are unheard of and can only be found at your Jeep headquarters of America, Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. No other dealer can offer you this kind of savings. We buy in mass quantities and pass along the savings to you. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude, starting at $18,870. Payments as low as $299 a month. On the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fee. State number 18J605. Must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
Yuengling Golden Pilsner, a highly sessionable beer, golden in both name and color. Yuengling Golden Pilsner is the perfect balance of hop and malt character for crisp and smooth thirst-quenching refreshment. Cheer for your garnet and gold with Yuengling Golden Pilsner. Yuengling, brewing good times for 190 years. Must be 21 or older. Please drink responsibly. A message from local beverage distributor Triangle Sales.
The Jeff Cameron Show podcast, available on demand at ESPNTallahassee.com and on iTunes today. The Jeff Cameron Show podcast is brought to you by Garnet and Gold of Tallahassee. When you buy FSU apparel, support local business. GarnetandGold.com.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks. It's the Father's Day sale at Ace. Hurry in and save hundreds on Dad's favorite brands like Milwaukee, DeWalt, Craftsman, Traeger, and Yeti. Plus, Ace has an extensive lineup of Steel outdoor power tools, so you can be sure to find something you'll love. And save time when you buy online and pick up in store. Make this Father's Day one that Dad will always remember, with great gifts from the best brands. All at your local Ace. Offers valid on select items at participating stores through June 17th. See store for details.
We're back with a state champion. That's right, a state champion head coach. His name is Titus Nixon. He is the basketball coach at St. John Paul II Catholic High School. Coach, how long have you been involved with athletics at JP2?
So I've been involved for 8 years as a coach. I was an assistant, and then 2 years as the girls basketball coach, and then I just completed my 5th year as the boys basketball coach. I also spent junior and senior years as a student at JP2 in the early years of the school's beginning.
What does it say, though, about the culture of an institution that you graduate from there almost 15 years ago, but here you are still spending your time back at that school?
I think it says a lot. The fact that my wife didn't graduate from JP2, but we both felt drawn back to help in some way. And we weren't even living in Tallahassee, and we always had this thought of, man, it would be so neat if I could go back and help in some way. And when I was named the coach 5 years ago, it was very special, and people thought I was crazy when I said in 5 years we're going to win a state championship. Maybe even I thought I was a little crazy, and it was just so cool to see the program develop over these last 5 years. And we've seen that in many of the sports at JP2. We have so many committed coaches, so many committed teachers that really lay it all on the line day in and day out to try to provide a great atmosphere and a lifelong positive experience for these students in their high school years.
Coach, thanks for your time. For more information about athletics, academics, student life, visit sjpiichs.org for St. John Paul II Catholic High School.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. The president of the new NBA champion Toronto Raptors, Masai Ujiri, is now being investigated by the Alameda County Sheriff's Office for possible misdemeanor battery on a police officer. More details from ESPN's Brian Windhorst.
This is an unfortunate development. Masai watched the end of the game from the tunnel outside the Raptors locker room on television. Once the game was over, he came down the tunnel and wanted to go on the court to celebrate with his team. But because it was a trophy presentation situation and because it was the visiting team winning, there was new security procedures in place and new credentials required. Now, this is standard procedure in the NBA. Masai did not have that credential. The officer there, who was part of an increased security presence around on the court, did not know who he was.
The sheriff's office says Ujiri pushed the officer twice, the second time making contact with his face. This all happening while Ujiri may be about to get a big money offer from the Washington Wizards. Owner Ted Leonsis is expected to ask permission to talk with Ujiri about a contract that would include an ownership stake in the team. Texas and Texas A&M will meet on the basketball court December 8th. They'll play at a neutral site in Fort Worth. It'll be only the second meeting since the Aggies left the Big 12 for the SEC 7 years ago. From hockey, the Islanders re-signed winger Jordan Eberle to a new 5-year contract worth more than $27 million.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday, brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachie Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
T1 Baseball putting together a 20th anniversary super regional era baseball team. I mentioned it because there are plenty of Knowles represented here, as there would be.
I can guess one.
And they write, does Aaron fit, who does a good job with this? 20 years ago, the landscape of college baseball changed dramatically and irrevocably, you can say the word, Jeff, just not quickly. For the better. In many ways, it has been a golden age for the game, but who are the best college players of what you could call either the 64-team era or the super regional era, beginning with a 1999 season? And they go through and they talk about coming out of the Gorilla Ball era, the expansion of the NCAA tournament from 48 teams to 64 teams. There was the famed 1998 College World Series championship game. I allude to this game incorrectly often. It's the Southern Cal 21, Arizona State 14 game, where you had those supercharged metal bats, and it made a mockery of the sport. And they've made enough changes. I often, for some reason, think of that game as including Alabama. But I think it's because I remember a College World Series game in which Alabama played in, and they gave up like 18 runs.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, right? But it wasn't the championship game. Anyhow, that was the problem back in the day, and it happened frequently. But then they changed the standards. They changed all of the equipment, and now what you get is a much more representative game when it comes to Major League Baseball. To the point, catcher Buster Posey. Just for fun, as you go through this, by the way, Matt Wieters made honorable mention, and some others, some names that we all smile about that went on to have great careers. For example, honorable mention Kyle Schwarber. Unfortunate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Might have seen that a little bit.
May have seen that up close and personal, didn't we? Anyhow, the write-up on Buster Posey is remarkable. One of the greatest individual seasons ever, in which he hit 463. 463 for that ass. Woo, woo.
A quick aside question. Do you think he was really that much of a difference maker as a staff manager for those Giants teams? Like, the catcher's role of managing a staff and calling a game?
The pitchers on those championship teams swear by him.
So then you had to let him catch. Because I'm just wondering about the lengthening of his career if he played
Put him at first base.
Yeah.
Well, he came here as an elite shortstop.
Right.
By the way, he could play everything.
But they had talked in the beginning about him playing catcher and first, and so they could manage his knees and his
health. And he's
health.
played quite a bit of first, but never enough to make the full-time transition.
But if they made that, would they have been better off? I guess the answer is no.
No, the position is so difficult to find, not just a player who defensively is elite, but can hit. And he hit for a long time. I mean, he's had, they got a lot out of it. The Giants went into every season with him as a catcher with plus at the position. That was, the differential was huge against them and anybody else they'd play because of his bat.
The scene in the famous scene in Caddyshack where the Bishop's golfing and it's like the plague is happening and he's making everything. That's how I felt with that music and his laughter. Like the joyful laughter.
Right.
Every time Buster came up in the Supers with a big situation.
He was unbelievable.
Because you'd hear the crescendo of the Ten Commandments score, which is what they stole from, and then he'd hit the ball out of the ballpark, and you'd just laugh. You'd be like, oh, my God, he always does it.
That season, 463. Here's the slash line. 463, 566, 879, 26 home runs, 21 doubles, 93 RBIs, and, oh, by the way, 6 saves with a 1.17 ERA. Remember he closed?
Yes.
He was the freak. First base, Dustin Ackley. Some honorable mention people there that we all know very well. Ricky Weeks was the second base at a Southern, yeah. Khalil Green, remember him at Clemson? Shortstop, forgot about that name. Honorable mention, Stephen Drew. Stephen Drew at the position. That makes a lot of sense. He was
it does.
a stud in college. He played in the majors forever. I never remember watching Chris Bryant dominate at San Diego. Do you?
That's because 9/11, they kept it over there.
2011, 2013, he hit 365. By the way, as a sophomore, he hit 366 with 14 home runs. He was one of the better hitters in the country, to say the least. He ended up with 31 home runs his junior season.
Oh, my God.
College baseball. That's right. So, honorable mention, Mark Teixeira at third base there. There's some names. Teixeira, of course, played at Georgia Tech. Ryan Braun, honorable mention at Miami.
Yeah, no. Dishonorable mention is what they should have put there.
Center fielder, George Springer from UConn. Don't remember him at all.
George Springer?
I know the superstar, but yeah, I don't remember in college. You remember him kicking ass at
No,
UConn?
no,
I don't. Shane Robinson, by the way, honorable mention from Florida State, as he should have been, along with Tyler Holt, who had an underrated career in college.
Yes, he did.
We've had a ton of really good center fielders. Then I get through the utility guys, and I was just looking for to see if there was anybody else from Florida State. It's fun to see how many guys were represented and were, I guess part of our youth or early days of watching college baseball. Florida has a ton of those pitchers.
When you say Tyler Holt, and it reminds me, obviously, he didn't play all that long ago, but
no.
If you think about it, the people in the building for the Super Regional that Mike Martin somehow swept in Baton Rouge, you've got Tyler Holt at first base. And you've got Mike Martin Jr., who played here. I mean, he's not just the son.
He was also really good.
He was really good. And you've got Eduardo Perez in the booth.
Yeah, it's neat.
You've got, through the eras, different players that were touched by Mike Martin, the coach.
It's fun to think about. You know what else is weird to think about? Honorable mention guys by the name of, say, I don't know, Mark Pryor, Aaron Nola, Chris Sale.
So it was a pretty good correlation between if you were good at this level at this point of the season, you were pretty good at the pros.
David Price was an honorable mention.
Oh, man.
Yeah, there's some. Mike Leake was an honorable mention. Andrew Miller, honorable mention. There's some guys out there. I did not know that Chris Sale pitched at Florida Gulf Coast.
Me either.
He did. You imagine remember how skinny he was when he came to the bigs?
Oh, yeah.
When he was with the White Sox? Remember how skinny he was? You're like, oh, my God, he's going to break in half. Imagine how skinny he was in college.
Yeah, it looked like his arm was 2 pretzel sticks,
it was
put together.
It was bizarre. But anyhow, what you do, go to d1baseball.com. I just scratched the surface. There are so many names to comb through here. I named mostly the starters, but there are a ton of great players over the era. And if you like college baseball and you've been watching it for a while, if you go back and go through every one of the positions, including the utility players, they've got a group of about 8 to 10 that they could have chosen or that were close to making the list or making the starter spot. And it's a veritable, as you might guess, as I showed you, a who's who of college baseball over the last 20 years. It's amazing.
You know what's funny is I don't know that there's a game that's better amongst fans of any sport. Any sport, if you've been a fan for 20, 30 years, and you could do team or league. But if you bring up names from those generations, nothing puts a smile on a sports fan's face faster than you saying a name that they forgot about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
and
just
they go,
bringing it up. Yeah.
Oh, my God. And for some reason, it's like instant nostalgia and joy. It does. They played on Le Batard all the time with the MLB, 90s MLB
Just
game.
pick a name out of nowhere and everybody smiles.
And you just go back and forth.
That guy. I forgot about him. Yeah. I don't do it when I'm looking at this list and it's all these honorable mention relief pitchers and starting pitchers for the University of Florida, of which there were a ton. But we learned about Aaron Nola pitching at LSU while we were up there this past weekend. We were walking by that Hall of Fame of LSU players like Aaron freaking Nola, and then we turn and go, that guy, and they're in the bigs now. And,
at least 12?
Yeah,
there we
least.
go. Really?
Studs across the board. It's amazing.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Want to do is hours of laundry, but there it sits, staring at you, taunting. No more. That's right. More watching, less washing. Save hours of valuable time when you sign up not doing laundry with Easy Laundry Service from Wash Around the Clock. Whether it's dry cleaning or just plain laundry, Wash Around the Clock's Easy Laundry Service will pick up and deliver at your home or office. So sign up for free today at easylaundry.net, or you can give them a call, 850-597-9007. Again, sign up today at easylaundry.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
Hey, this is Jeff Doxey, representing Premier Fine Homes. I'm proud to announce Premier's newest community, Brookside Village. Brookside has the great schools you want, some larger home sites, and is conveniently located on Ox Bottom Road between Ox Bottom Manor and Moore Pond. Call or text me today at 545-4747 or email me at jeffdoxey1@gmail.com. Remember, before you buy, try me at Brookside.
Make Edwin Watts Golf the place to shop for dads and grads with their summer savings sale happening now. Go faster and farther with the new Callaway Epic Flash Driver with flash face technology for more ball speed and distance. Get custom fit for free today. And measure your distance with Bushnell GPS and rangefinders and save up to $70. Choose from the Phantom, the Hybrid, or the Tour V4 Shift. Edwin Watts Golf is your place to shop for the hottest golf gear this summer. Edwin Watts, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Prescription products require an online physician consultation and are only available if the physician determines a prescription is appropriate. See website for full details.
Hey guys, good news. The expensive Little Blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And now get your first month's supply for just $5 at 4hims.com/deliver. Hims connects you with real doctors online who can prescribe the medication, and a pharmacy sends it right to your door. So easy. To get your first order for just $5, you need to go to 4hims.com/deliver. That's 4hims.com/deliver.
Take me out to the ball game.
Indeed. And with weather like this, it's good to see you out on this magnificent, sizable deck.
It is quite impressive. You can see it all the way from the stadium.
What a deck. What a deck indeed.
I hear that a lot.
You know, I remember, what was it, mid-90s you opened up? Place was so small.
Now it's huge.
All I know is a lot of good times have been spent on this deck. Man, people enjoy it. They laugh, they sing, they drink, they eat, and they celebrate all the goodness of the Gordo's deck.
And you can come have a Gordo Smash.
Delicious. Sitting on the deck with a Gordo Smash. That's a good day at the office.
Or put a Cuban in your mouth.
And other food. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Xfinity delivers the fastest internet, the most Wi-Fi coverage throughout your home, and the most Wi-Fi hotspots nationwide. Only from Xfinity. Call, click, or visit an Xfinity store today to experience all Xfinity has to offer.
If you're a contractor, the Home Depot is here to save you money. You can get the same or better quality paint as you do at paint stores, but you also get one thing paint stores don't have: low prices every day on every gallon of high-quality Behr paint, stains, and primers. Plus, for pros, volume discounts. How much are you paying per gallon? At the Home Depot, you pay less for Behr paint every day, like Behr Pro paint starting at just $15.48 a gallon. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only. See store for details.
Hendrick.
It's the Hendrick Summer Sales Event at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC. Save big on over 200 new Buick and GMC cars, trucks, and SUVs. We are professional grade. DaleJr.BuickGMC.com.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
It's funny when you play your favorites, you do your thing where you're like, Oh, I mean, it could be the nicest guy in the world. Tom and I are over here scoreboard checking at the U.S. Open. I don't want to ruin everything for you guys. Occasionally, I'll make mention of where Tiger is and obviously what Justin Rose is doing and different guys. And just now, Ricky Fowler teeing off. So it will be fascinating to see what he and Rory do in terms of the leaderboard. But, Brooks and Tiger were kind of all day today sort of, come on, guys, let's get something going. It seemed like people were struggling to get something going. But there are perfectly good guys that are in this mix whom, if they haven't consistently been there, we're like, I got no time for this guy. Get this guy out of here. Why is Chesson Hadley still sticking around? Get him out of here. You're a bum, Hadley.
You do that every single major.
Yeah, I do.
Like, you hate. I mean, there's hate.
But I don't. It's hate for the predicament that I find myself in that from a rooting interest, who wants a Sunday where you get who was the guy that pissed me off?
Sean McKeel.
Thank you. Nobody needs that.
Mm-hmm.
Get the hell out of here with that miracle run, and then you go away forevermore, and we'll never. Charles Schwartzel's sorry ass. Get out of here. Go. Get away. I need these. I want. That's fair. I want. Give me Rose and Woods and Koepka and Fowler and Rory and whomever. Like, give me just a panoply of superstars on a Sunday going to war.
But you don't get to be one of those guys without winning something like this.
I agree with you. Hadley's not going to go on to win a bunch of majors. Let's just say it, man. If you're 22 and Xander Schauffele he's won 4 times on the PGA Tour.
He's commanded your respect and attention.
Off the cap.
There was a time. Who the hell is this Schauffele guy?
No, he's emerged now, and you go, okay, all right, you belong. You belong. You can't come out of nowhere and immediately capture me unless you're like a 52-year-old journeyman who somehow qualified for the Open and you're making a go of it. Then I got you. Go get it, buddy.
There was a guy yesterday, and they didn't follow up on this on the Fox broadcast, which, by the way, all they did was show golf yesterday.
They did a good job.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And then on FS1, they had the featured groups of Brooks and Tiger. They were smart, though. Did you notice they go to commercial at the same time? I would flip back and forth, and they time it out.
They time it up nicely.
Cheeky little.
They got us.
So there was a guy, I forget his name, but he finished on, I think it was number 9. And he shoots even or 1 under, whatever. I mean, it's a good round, obviously, yesterday.
Yeah.
But they said that this is his first major. He's 36 years old. He had reconstructive knee surgery or ACL surgery, something along those lines. And he had endured personal tragedy. And this is his first U.S. Open, and this is a great round for him. And I was like, well, okay. You want to tell me more? Because if you're telling me this is a 30-some-odd-year-old person, which is on the back half of his golfing prime, and he's endured personal tragedy and a devastating injury.
He had a car accident, right?
I don't know.
I never heard. I believe I know the story you're talking about. I think he had a severe car accident, and then he's had to battle back from that. Like, he crushed his knees or something.
Did it kill somebody? Clearly somebody in his life died that means a lot to him. I'd get behind that guy. If he was, top
right.
3 on the leaderboard,
Yes.
You're like, oh, sweet Jesus, I want this guy to win more than anything.
Yeah. Well, there's some guys, when Trey and I were going through the amateurs, like I told you we talked to Noah Norton, who was the kid out of Chico, California, and went to Georgia Tech. We interviewed him. Now, he's 20 years old. He's an elite college player in the ACC. He's got his career in front of him. But because you get these sectional qualifiers for the U.S. Open, you get stories like that. There's a 30-year-old Kevin O'Connell from Jacksonville, Florida. He graduated a long time ago. U.S. mid-amateur champ. He's 30 years old, and he's out there, getting it. The biggest one that we know that we saw at last year's majors, last year's U.S. Open, is that Matt Parzali guy, the 32-year-old fireman.
Yeah.
He qualified again. Did you know that?
I did not know
he's
that.
playing.
Oh,
yeah.
that's
so
awesome.
get this. That dude, he's sectionally qualified. And it sounded like that was going to be sexual for a second, didn't it?
The first time you said that, I was just kind of giggling.
Yeah.
I'm like, could you imagine if that was a qualification for the U.S. Open?
No. So, yeah, Matt...
Tiger's like, I've got a lifetime exception.
Oh, yeah, he's like, I'll be playing till I'm 90.
Wait till you tell.
Yeah.
That's only year 1 of my career.
So that guy, by the way, he played 2 years of pro golf on mini tours in order to regain his amateur status, right? He went to, where was it? U.S. Open. I'm reading it right now. I just pulled him up because I wanted to know what that did. He's a firefighter in Brockton. Apparently he had always dreamt of playing professional golf. He played in college. It didn't work out. He went to Southeastern in the state of Florida here. He went to Southeastern.
Is that where Southeastern is?
That's where it is. So he went to Southeastern, And it just didn't pan out. It happens that way, right? There were a lot of other things that went on in his life. He walked away from the game, but the love and the zeal never went away. So he kept playing, and he started playing really well as he got into his 30s. And somebody said, you could qualify for one of these things. They take anybody. If you go out there, that's the beauty of the Open. It's an Open. Go try out. And he did. And he did the mini tour thing. He ended up regaining amateur status, made it. He made it again this year.
So here's my question, and maybe you don't know the answer, so it'd be bad radio at that point. But do you think that they have to pay for their travel expenses?
Yes.
They do?
Yeah. I think he has to probably.
So for the honor of going to the Open, you got to go find like a local company where you're coming from.
Somebody would do it. I mean, everybody would chip in. And
yeah.
I'm sure
a couple nights at Pebble, 5 nights at Pebble ain't exactly the cheapest thing in the world.
I think you do have to. I could be wrong on that. Like maybe once you qualify, you're good to go. Everything leading to it obviously is on you.
Yeah.
So you go to the places where you qualify. But yeah, I don't know the answer to that. That's a good question. We'll have to look that up. But I would guess, even if it were true that you had to pay for everything out there, the fine folks of Brockton would step up and give,
pride of Brockton.
Everybody would donate a little something and say, here, let's make it happen. But yeah, there's a 17-year-old. This is interesting. There's a 17-year-old that qualified. Did you see this? He was the U.S. junior champion.
Mm-hmm.
He committed to Stanford. Apparently, I don't know that he's going to go there necessarily. He attends IMG in Bradenton.
Yeah, they don't need any help at Stanford, so go pro, young man.
First pro start, Bradenton, IMG.
Wow.
It's amazing.
And then there's the bona fides like Victor Hovland, who's going pro after this.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll take Oklahoma State's coach with him to the pros? That guy's on the bag for everything.
Everything, right? I do like reading these stories. I was looking at where these guys grow up, where they played, how they qualified. He's the biggest name of all the amateurs that's playing. He's a superstar.
Oh, he's got a chance to finish T20. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a good player. He had an up and down round yesterday. He was kind of fascinating.
He came out gunning with Brooks.
He was 4 under.
He and Brooks were like carrying each other, like two horses pacing the race.
Yeah, they were 4 under. Side note, I meant to bring this up the other day because I think it's pretty cool. So much talk about Brooks Koepka and the mentality that he has, and how do you reach that place where statistically you're one thing, but then you're this other thing in the majors, and it brings out the best in you and all these. And the announcers have spent, as they do every time Brooks tees it up these days, I would say an inordinate amount of time. Doesn't bother me. I'm just used to hearing it. Maybe we're so locked in on Brooks. Talking about the gear he goes to or the switch he turns in his brain or the way he's able to block out distractions and just focus on the golf and all that. Trey Jones, head golf coach, Florida State, once told me that he played around in college with Ricky, and Ricky shot a 63, beat Brooks by 6-7 shots, whatever it was. And it was just the first round they played together. And afterwards, this is how locked in. He doesn't care what anybody else does in his group. And so Trey and Brooks were driving back, and he said, boy, Ricky had a good round today, didn't he? And Brooks goes, he was okay. Trey goes, well, I mean, he played very well. And he was trying not to rub it in, and Brooks like, I thought he was all right. I didn't, But he wasn't being a jerk. He just thought he played okay. He goes, yeah, he shot a 63. And Brooks, did he really? Oh, I guess he made more putts than I realized. That's where he's at.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't even faze him.
La La Land,
La
yeah.
La Land. He's focused on what he's doing. It was not sliding him in any way. And Trey said he was always that way. If he played with a guy that shot a 61 and he shot a 70, and the next day he'd go out and shoot a 64 and that guy'd shoot a 72, he wouldn't know the difference between the rounds. He'd just know what he did. He wouldn't even be looking at any of that other stuff. That's pretty amazing to be able to do. That does lend insight.
That's nearly impossible to do.
Yeah, just not even know. Just like I'm focused on what I got to do.
Because there are times.
Now, maybe in pro golf it's different. Maybe
Well, maybe it is because you've done it for so long and it becomes mundane.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I know that if I'm playing in something or with somebody, and let's just say they're a little bit better than me, or I know that they're going to be shooting a number that's a good one,
right?
Then I have like almost my own pace car. I'm like, all right, I know exactly what I need to be doing.
I need to be
if
doing.
I keep up with this joker, then I'll be okay in the grand scheme of things.
Sure. I always like to play with people better than me. You're better than me at golf. Most people that I play with typically are. I like that back when I played all sports. I wanted to be with people who were better than me, not because I had any fear that I'd be embarrassed or whatever, but if you see good shots or you see, great athleticism, or it brings out theoretically it should bring out the best.
Well, the best I ever got, which was just this side of scratch, was when I played with somebody who could shoot in the 60s every day.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't, but they always could.
But they could.
There was
You
a
knew it was
65 in him. I mean, you'd root for it. But this guy could. Dog legs meant nothing. He just goes over the top of him.
Shaping shots.
Former baseball player. Yeah.
Hit it a mile.
Hit it, 310 carry.
Yeah.
In those days, I mean, technology was still really good, but it's not as good as it is now.
That's nuts. It's that's fun though. You don't want, if you're playing with a guy that shoots 150. First of all, your round's gonna be messed up, and
you got a lot of time between swings.
A lot of time between swings, and you also see a lot of tough visuals. You want to be looking away from when there's.
Well, but I think once it gets over the top ridiculous, it's not that bad.
Yeah. Then as long as they're quick.
Right.
Go find your ball. Let's go. It's all right. Yeah, no, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I mean, I get it. I'm not an elitist.
It's a different kind of round. That's usually when you get a couple beers.
Oh,
and you're just like, man, we're listening to music.
Just have some fun here. Final hour, forthcoming. Stay with.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Tom?
So I've got two questions, and the first one I'm going to ask you about is the state championship. What made this year, this team so special?
If I had to use one word, I would say resiliency. We preached that word from the first day of practice, that no matter what happens, we as a group need to stick together, and we need to form a brotherhood that is so tight that nothing can break us. And our group was talented, but I think what made them so special is that they were resilient when things got hard. Instead of severing and breaking apart, they instead came together even stronger. And then also selfless, that this group put the team above themselves in a way that I have hardly ever seen in sports, whether it be on the high school, college, or pro level. And I think that's what made this year's 2019 state champions at JP2 so special.
It sounds like even though you built a culture, a championship culture at that, at JP2, it doesn't just come from the basketball program itself.
JP2 is a wonderful family environment. It is a school that prides itself in helping students develop and form in mind, body, and spirit. It truly is a family atmosphere.
For more information about athletics, academics, student life, visit sjpiichs.org for St. John Paul II Catholic High School.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is the Jeep headquarters of America. We've purchased over 100 Jeep Renegades, and they've all arrived and are on the lot for immediate delivery. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude with MSRP starting at $25,120. On sale now for $18,870. That's a savings of $6,250. A new Jeep starting at only $18,870. Those prices are unheard of and can only be found at your Jeep headquarters of America, Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. No other dealer can offer you this kind of savings. We buy in mass quantities and pass along the savings to you. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude, starting at $18,870. Payments as low as $299 a month. On the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fee. State number 18J605. Must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left.
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Hendrick. Find new adventures, find new roads, find a new car buying experience at the all-new Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet. Save big at the Hendrick Summer Sales Event all month. Get a 2019 Chevy Silverado 1500 truck, up to $12,000 off MSRP. That's right, up to $12,000 in savings. Find honest, trusted service right here on Tennessee Street or shop DaleJuniorChevy.com. Not all vehicles will qualify for maximum discount. Must finance with GM Financial plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and dealer app insurance. See dealer for details.
Thursdays are Friday Eve, and that's a reason to celebrate. No matter what you're looking for, they've got you covered every Thursday down in College Town. Centrale offers 50% off select pizzas all day, every Thursday. Or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the Social Agreement. You and a buddy can split 1 Aurora wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday College Town deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday, brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachie Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for this week. Thanks for tuning to it. And a fine Libations Friday to you and yours. Good to be with you. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you're going to listen live via the streaming free. Always. Don't miss anything. But hey, if you miss things, all 3 hours get posted upon the conclusion of the show, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. You can also find it on the webpage in the archived audio. Email us if you want, jcs@ESPNradio.com. Find us on Twitter at JCameronShow. WTSM app, good for mobile devices. And hello, YouTubers and Periscopers. Toronto is your NBA champion. You know how long you and I have talked about the foregone conclusion that the NBA regular season leading to a championship is, and how that's a problem for the league, that there are intermittent stories that give rise to intrigue occasionally, but that we already know who's going to win it. Well, that changed last night. That changes everything now. It also changes the blueprint for a lot of these teams who feel like they're close, because you have a dying dynasty, perhaps, certainly an altered one no matter what happens out at Golden State. And the East is wide the hell open. We don't know what Toronto's going to look like next year. They could blow this whole thing up. You don't know. If Kawhi leaves, and it looks like he probably will, although I don't know where you'd put that 50-50, 60-40 he leaves. Probably 60-40. They've got some other guys they probably can't bring back from a money situation. So who knows what they look like next year. And the fact that, their GM, Masai, the fact that he decided to roll the dice. I mean, think about this. Goodbye, DeRozan. I'm going to make a trade. I'm going to make a run at a one-off 1 year. Let's give it all a go. Kawhi Leonard, who had played 9 games the year before. And then I'm going to fire the coach of the year because I don't think he's up to snuff in the postseason. He's not the guy we want pulling the trigger. I'm going to give a rookie head coach the reins here for my team that I think is this close, chips to the center of the table, and they just won it all in 6. I mean, I think when you go back, think about this, Tom. I was reading a story this week in the Boston Globe where they talked about the moment of truth last year where they had to decide whether or not, Danny Ainge had to decide whether or not to trade for Kawhi Leonard and what would they be willing to give up and what wouldn't they give up. And they deemed it too big a risk to make the move because they'd only seen Kawhi play 9 games, and they thought, well, what if this is a real problem? What if he's not going to be right and we give up assets to bring in Kawhi Leonard and he's a shell of what he was and we get played? I don't want to do it. Toronto did do it, and they just won the whole thing. And even though people are going to say, well, there's an asterisk here. I mean, obviously, Kevin Durant didn't play in the series but for 12 minutes. In the final game, Game 6, you lose Clay. I don't care. I still say that's the way to man up and go for it. That's the way. I mean, we're starving for a championship. He figured we're kind of close. Lowry's up and down, but he's a good enough player to pair with a superstar. Get Danny Green to come in, too, in that trade, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Van Vliet's a G League guy they bring up. He goes nuts. Obviously, Siakam's a good player. They had enough guys. They went out and got Gasol in the year, right? So he helped them during the regular season. All of a sudden, you just kind of look at that and you go, all right, well, maybe more people will be daring because the East is wide the hell open. And if you can get to the finals, you don't know what you're going to face.
Well, I think the Kawhi thing, though, is unique because he's a rental. I mean, he's a 1-year rental. Now they could turn it into an extension and make it a long-term play. Obviously, they didn't say it's 100% certain that Kawhi is not going to stay. We're going to make a year-long pitch, an 82-game plus a playoff pitch to stay here, and that's better than we could ever do sitting across from him at the negotiating table if he didn't come here in the first place.
Yeah, you get him in the door,
right,
hope to win him over.
You let him live here.
And Toronto's a great city,
right,
and the fans are awesome. Well, they're loyal.
Yeah.
They may have been a little over the top cheering Katie's injury. But
yeah, that was a mistake.
It was disappointing. Of course, it wasn't all of them. I know that. And there were a lot of people. The next day, there was a long article. We didn't address this when we were talking about this the other day, about how like 3/4 of those Toronto fans were appalled by the quarter of fans that were cheering that. And they gave him a standing O as he came off the court. And they had cut to commercial. So nationally, a lot of people didn't see that the Toronto fans were like, no.
They chanted KD as well.
Yeah. So it's a mixed bag there. But the initial reaction from a lot of those fans was to cheer.
Yeah.
That's what happens. You get people in large crowds, man, they're a-holes. What are you going to do? But that's an aside. Anyhow, back to what we were talking about.
Yeah, I think in this instance, it's just such a unique situation where you have an 82-game courting process. A lot of guys are going to make their long-term decisions this year, we would think. The only way that changes, and I wonder if the market is clogged here in the offseason. Let's just say that Durant takes the 1-year deal with Golden State for argument's sake. And I heard
$30+ million.
They were arguing vehemently on Le Batard yesterday, Van Gundy. The only reason I bring that up, like, why do I care that they're arguing about the NBA? Well, Stan Van Gundy's talking
really
about
good
it.
at what he does, yes.
And he says you take more money as quick as you can get it. For my money, I think it's debatable because if you opt in for 1 year, $31 million with Golden State if you're Durant.
And you miss the year.
And you're not playing, so you collect the 31. You can restart the clock on the contract. People are going to take a chance. They're so starving. It's kind of like not having a quarterback in the NFL. If an injured Aaron Rodgers, who had 2 Tommy John surgeries or a Tommy John surgery or something like that, sat out a year, and then he's available on the free agent market, you don't think somebody in Cincinnati or another franchise that's been starving for a quarterback forever would throw the max deal at him, hoping that it would work? So I think there is logic to KD maybe taking that year.
Yeah, but I think he's going to get the max deal now, and you want to start the clock now, and you get your maximum money now, either way, and then you're out in 3 that you play.
Yeah, but for me,
I would not. Now, see, had he stayed healthy.
Yeah.
Well.
No. See, here's what I'm saying is if that injury, let's just say you and your camp, I don't know if I'm ever going to be the same again. That means the second max deal is not a sure thing. It's not a surefire thing 4 or 5 years from now, right?
Right.
So I could take the 31 now, get the max after that, and I'm making $30 million plus for, an extra year. Whereas maybe by the time I get into year 3 or 4 of this contract, the long-term one I get, I'm exposed as an injury undid my career. I've at least maximized the amount of money I could make in that situation. Now, if they say full recovery, then I suppose he could. But sorry, it's a lot of ways to go.
No, but there are a lot. That's what the summer is going to be interesting. One of the reasons it's going to be interesting. It would have been more interesting had he not got hurt. It would have been more interesting because we would have had all this bidding going on with a player that's going to play now.
Well, I think the point is that I was trying to make at the very, very beginning before we looked at all the different roads that this could go.
Yeah.
Is let's just say, for argument's sake, he opted back into Golden State. Now what does everybody do? Now what do the other players in the NBA do that might want to play with Kevin Durant? Like a Kyrie Irving, does he take a one-year deal somewhere else to wait and see where KD is going to go? Because the whole market can shift with one injury, or as we see, that you might not want to lock yourself into a destination if KD's not coming.
Yeah, the Golden State, by the way, could go to him, he opts in, they pay the $31 million, and then they sign him to a 5-year deal. They can do that. They're in position to do that. So they could say, our bad. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what happened behind the scenes.
Yeah, we'll guarantee it to you.
Yeah, we'll guarantee it to you. You know,
I mean, how long is Steph going to last? Really?
They could do that. From what I read, it sounds like if the Knicks, maybe not the Knicks, but anybody comes to him and he's intrigued by their roster and what their plans are, and says, "We'll give you the Supermax, which is a 4-year deal," he'll probably sign it.
I think the Knicks would give him $500 million if they could. You have to if you're them. You are. I mean, you talk about starving. This is beyond starving.
But I wonder what happens with Clay because he was set to hit free agency this summer. That sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a torn ACL. I understand people heal from that, but man,
the initial speculation, and this was Woj last night, is that it won't affect what he gets because it's such a routine, if you will, serious injury. In that family of serious injuries, it's the most, recoverable.
Yeah.
And he doesn't live and die by bursting. I mean, yes, he could cut to the basket, but he's not known for, breakneck speed the way Russell Westbrook is. He's known for spotting up and shooting and get to a spot and get the ball out of his hands. And there was a note yesterday. I was talking to Matthew during the break. The advanced metrics say that Klay Thompson entering Game 7 was taking the toughest shots by a wide margin versus anybody in terms of contesting.
He's a freak, man. He's a really good player.
Score situation, the range the defender is, so the closeout rate, and then also game time and scoring situation. So everything was against him to a greater degree than anybody else in the finals, and yet his expected field goal percentage was 20% higher than the nearest guy.
Nuts.
So he was blowing everybody out of the water in difficulty of shots and then also the other end of actually making shots.
Those kinds of shots.
And he was doing it again last night.
All of this becomes just a jumbled mess. It's not – everybody had it planned out how the summer was going to go. And once the first domino fell, we knew how everything else was going to go. Now we don't know, which is also intriguing in and of itself. Don't forget Anthony Davis and Boston's pitch to him. How much do they go after him? Now, the East is wide open. If they believe Kawhi is gone, now how close is – you know who gets lost in all this, by the way? The team that thought they had the plan that didn't have the plan. The Sixers, who just watched Toronto win the NBA championship.
In fairness to them, it was like a triple rattle home of a shot from the corner.
Listen, they can't get out of the second round. For all these plans, they never get out of the second round. Also, their team is short. They don't have enough good players. So there they were watching a team who's got 7 to 8 people that can score. They got 3.
Well, maybe they don't have a good enough amount of players, or maybe Kawhi goes to the Clippers and they're right back in there as the favorite.
Well, you might be the favorite, but you got to get out of the second round at some point to be the favorite.
That was the slimmest of margins. I mean, we're championing Toronto's wins.
It's not the first time. I'm saying they haven't got with this plan. Look at what they have left. All these guys they drafted, some of whom did not work out, and Markelle Fultz, you go on and on, right? Embiid's great. We need a little more out of Embiid in the postseason, but
you could argue
they don't know what they have in Simmons. They don't.
But you could argue they played the NBA champion better than the other two teams, the next two teams on the road. All I'm saying is, if it rattles the other way, it goes out and they keep playing. Who knows? It's the slimmest of margins. It's really hard to close the deal.
It is, and they didn't, again. And all I'm saying is they don't have enough good players right now. I'm saying that despite all of this trust the process stuff that we talk about, they still ended up with a limited roster. They made trades in the midst of all of this. They didn't have anybody coming off the bench to save their ass. They don't have enough good players. Toronto had an abundance of them. That has to be frustrating. The Sixers played them great. In retrospect, you're right. They played them fantastic. is still stuck after not getting in the second. Listen, he gets another year. He'll come back. Brown does. We'll find out what happens.
I would have changed that part of it personally.
But
yes.
Okay, so there they are. By the way, we're forgetting Milwaukee and all this. They've got a rising MVP who's going to learn from this. He's going to be going into his prime years. He's not even there yet. So what do they add on? They're a good basketball team, too. They blew a 2-0 lead to Toronto.
I thought that the Pelicans did the smartest thing possible this week, and I don't know if you saw the headline because it's kind of buried in the U.S. Open and NBA Finals, but they said they're open to a 3-team trade for Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
We'll do anything.
We'll do anything.
We'll do anything and everything.
Yeah.
We will field all calls because you clearly see with what Kawhi's done, you've got to have a bona fide ace in order to get this thing done. Not 3 B players. You got to have at least 1 A player.
Well, and by the way, they traded draft picks and other players to bring in Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris. Philadelphia did, so now you got to pay.
Oh, he opts out, right? He's got a player option.
Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening. Embiid is on a max contract. Butler and Harris, unrestricted free agents next month. Got to produce a mighty big deal there.
You see if anybody's stupid enough to take Simmons and, see what you free up some room. Seriously, you free up some cap room.
Yeah.
Go get Lowry. Isn't he up? I think he's up in Toronto.
Be frustrated right now, man.
God. There were so many big plays in that game last night that nobody will ever talk about. One of the most amazing ones, I think it starts the fourth quarter, and Golden State's going to go up 5 on a breakaway. And if you watched Kyle Lowry track down and steal a ball on a breakout pass, it's near half court. You talk about, what would these guys do in the NFL? They'd be the best player. That closing speed is essentially what a cornerback, the anticipation, the close, and he's doughy for an NFL player.
It's cool to watch the athleticism at that size. It's silly. It's you just don't if you stand next to these guys, the 6'6", 6'8", 6'9", and that well, first of all, just look at a guy like Kawhi, who has that length with that, that wingspan. It's like a freak of nature you're watching. And then the athleticism and strength to boot. Most people that are long and lanky like that don't have Herculean strength to boot, but he does.
Yeah, some people thought that Doris had a really long face when she was in the fourth quarter reporting that Klay wasn't coming back because of the news. She was really disappointed because she wasn't watching Kawhi, and they made her sit in the tunnel and wait to hear what was going on.
This is ridiculous. I got to get back out there and see my guy.
I need to see Kawhi's hands.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Next caller, you're on the air.
Well, the city of Tallahassee recommends that I take advantage of their grants and loans to get more insulation in my attic. That's really going to keep my cooling costs down.
These are some great suggestions. There are lots of ways to save. Caller, you're on the air.
I reduce energy for water heating by lowering my water heater temperature and installing low-flow shower heads.
We have time for one more caller. What do you have for us?
I make sure to use my programmable thermostat to regulate the temperature in my home when I'm away.
Thank you, caller. That's all the time we have today.
The City of Tallahassee Utilities would like to help you save as much energy as you can and save money while you're at it. Visit talgov.com for more information and start saving energy today.
Who's ready for the best wings in Tally and locally brewed beers? Hobbit American Grill is the place to be. They've been voted Tally's best wings again in 2018. Hobbit offers Bingo Mondays, happy hour all day Fridays with craft beers on tap from all the local breweries. And the Hobbit is your home for all the UFC fights with plenty of high-def TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip-smacking wings in town. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving great food to great friends for good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
Make Edwin Watts Golf the place to shop for dads and grads with their summer savings sale happening now. Get custom fit for free with the Cobra King F9 Speedback driver, the ultimate formula for speed, making it the fastest and longest Cobra driver ever. And measure your distance with Bushnell GPS and rangefinders and save up to $70. Choose from the Phantom, the Hybrid, or the Tour V4 Shift. Edwin Watts Golf is your place to shop for the hottest golf gear this summer. Edwin Watts, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Hendrick.
Find new adventures, find new roads, find a new car buying experience at the all-new Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet. Save big at the Hendrick Summer Sales Event all month. Get a 2019 Chevy Silverado 1500 truck, up to $12,000 off MSRP. That's right, up to $12,000 in savings. Find honest, trusted service right here on Tennessee Street or shop DaleJuniorChevy.com. Not all vehicles will qualify for maximum discount. Must finance with GM Financial plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and dealer have insurance. See dealer for details.
Napa know-how. How does Napa bring you the best deals on things like an Evercraft 26-piece screwdriver set with storage rack? The old switcheroo. Take the regular price, $41.99, switch around the digits, and wham, now just $14.99. Grab your Evercraft screwdriver set for $14.99 before the price switcheroo's back. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer ends 6/30/19.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Look around. That's right, you see Nissans everywhere. Tallahassee has officially become a Nissan town. The Kraft Nissan town. Why? Because Kraft Nissan has the best pricing, best selection, and the best buying experience in town. And at Kraft Nissan, you get the best value for your dollar. With more standard features, our exclusive and the original lifetime warranty, our Easy Choice menu that gives you a price and payment in writing, our New For You program that helps people with damaged credit, and every new Altima and Rogue we sell has both special interest rates and rebates. You get both, plus $1,000 over Kelley Blue Book for your trade. Best of all, my people are the best in the business. They will greet you with a smile and a handshake, and they know your time is valuable. My managers are always accessible, and of course, you can always ask for me or my brother Peter. Bottom line, if you need a new or pre-owned car, you need to experience the Kraft Nissan difference. Great people, great product, great price, with the best car buying experience in town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
A lot of discussion about this, but it should be noted that the playoff run Kawhi Leonard just had is in the annals of all-time great runs. If you don't believe that, here are the players that average more points through the playoffs and the championship series en route to a title in the history of basketball. You ready? You ready to hear the company he's in?
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan in 1993. Michael Jordan in 1992.
It's a good start.
Hakeem Olajuwon, 1995. Michael Jordan, 1998. Some guy named Michael Jordan, 1991. Another guy named Michael Jordan, 1997. There's a theme here about this Jordan character. We should look him up. I bet he was good. Michael Jordan in 1996. And finally, Shaquille O'Neal in 2000. That's it. That's all. Only those players, 3 of them. One guy did it a lot in Jordan, like every time he won. So just Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, and Michael Jordan. That's it. Only players in history to have averaged more points a game in the playoffs en route to a championship than Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi averaged over 30 points a game for the entirety of the run.
Man. All while playing great defense.
Unbelievable defense. He's the best defensive player in the league. It's really unbelievable. It is. It's also, I think, understated just because he's so quiet. He's the most unassuming superstar. He is a superstar. But only Kawhi Leonard's quirkiness would lead him to sign with Toronto in a one-off after sitting out the entirety of a year with San Antonio and then going and dominating the postseason and winning an MVP. Now, he's won an MVP in both leagues, in 2 different championship series. He and LeBron are the only guys to do that, right? I mean, it's absolutely not. And LeBron was obviously with Miami and Cleveland, but it's, I mean, I can't fathom. And now it will even get weirder because he's going to ride the hell out and go play for the Clippers.
You still think so?
I do. I don't think he's returning.
I hope he does, because that group is quite capable, as the fourth quarter last night proved.
Yeah, they're really good. They've got 7 guys that can score. 7.
I hope he goes back. I looked at the numbers this morning, and they got to move some money around a little bit to make it work. I think I don't know that they can get up to the max. They can get up to 30, but they need a little bit more room in order to be able to offer him a max deal. But I sure hope that they find a way to keep that guy there. I think it's perfect. Like you said, it's weird. He's not L.A., although I suppose if he were L.A., that he would be the Clippers, not the Lakers.
Yeah, he's not going to the Lakers. He's going to the Clippers.
It's the same arena, but you watch the Clippers game, and they have all the floodlights on inside, like the greenish Matrix-style lights in the background, whereas the Lakers game is like a prize fight. You can't even see the stands. All you see is the court because it's center stage. So I guess he would be more of that blue-collar atmosphere that the Clippers have.
Well, I just think it seems almost like it's in ink because he bought a place out there. One of his kids, I think I read, is in a school out there by where the Clippers play. And
what I heard is he's got a place in San Diego. I thought it's closer to San Diego, which is a couple hours away, and that's some place that he's always had because that's his hometown.
Well, it's a great place to live. So, and if you can afford it, and he can.
There was a rumor 2 weeks ago that he may have put in a bid on a house in Toronto. Now, this is kind of like probably head coach. You're looking for a head coach to be selling a property,
real estate agents,
real estate, the
whole deal. I don't listen. I think it would be cool if he stayed. It'd be cool for Toronto, obviously, but they couldn't be. I heard people kicking it around this morning, like, would you be mad at him if he left? And I don't mean you and me. I mean the people of Toronto, with the fans of Toronto. Hey, get the hell out of here with that. You've never won nothing. That guy just won you a championship. He didn't have to sign with Toronto.
I think he is the only player, and he would never do this, but I think he is the only player maybe in the last 10, 15 years that if he signed with the New York Knicks, I would
you'd
put down my sword
get your jersey,
with the Dolans.
Get your Kawhi jersey.
I would. He would be strong enough of a player and a player type for me to get. KD isn't, though. If KD went, sorry, can't do it. Can't do it. But if Kawhi
did, he handled New York City.
With all the tabloids, they still have print papers over there, and they print them out every day.
He'd be devastated. Every day somebody would say something that just wasn't up to the standard that he holds everybody to. God, get the hell out of here with that. I hate that he got hurt, though. I mean, this whole summer is going to be weird, but somebody's still out there to give him a supermax. He's still going to get it. Now, a lot of people speculate he'll just re-sign with Golden State for $30+ million, opt in on that $30+ million, let them do all the surgery and everything like that, and then if he wants out down the line, he can go. I don't know. I mean, I still think somebody gives him a supermax, 4 years, $170 whatever million that is, and they know they're not going to get him for a year. You know what's interesting is Golden State's dilemma now that you find out Clay's knee. I mean, that's a torn ACL. That sucks.
But he'll be back. I mean, the way that goes and rehab goes, and usually the better the athlete, the quicker the rehab. And you're talking about an NBA player here, so
Clay's really good. I'd sign him. I'd re-sign him. He is fantastic.
As I've said before, I'm just very glad that it was. I mean, I'm not glad it was an ACL, but I'm glad that it was that serious because, for a Golden State, I've been there, man. I follow a franchise in baseball that never gets it right on the injury front. Mm-hmm. At least in this case. Could you imagine if it was just a mild sprain? Could you imagine this morning the coverage? Yeah. Because then all the coverages, they went overboard because they had to overcompensate for the mistakes they made in the Kevin Durant situation. In this case, they made the right call. Even though it was a hard one.
How cool was him coming back out there to shoot the free throws?
Well, as Doris was reporting, he's jumping up and down the locker room to stay loose.
Yeah, that was nuts. That guy is awesome. I like that guy a lot. I really do. I think he's a wonderful player. He's one of the best players in the league, and he's just on a team full of superstars. But he didn't get overlooked like he used to. He's a baller. That guy's a real good player.
You give me Clay and Kawhi Leonard. I think I'd put on a Knicks jersey.
I think I might join whatever fan base that is. I'm all right with that one. Yeah,
it could be the T-Wolves.
Let's go T-Wolves. We got Clay and Kawhi. That's a fierce combination right there. Yeah, man. And think about a guy like Van Vliet, signed, brought up from the G League.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts. I mean, they had a lot of things happen. It's just really cool to watch.
Man, I thought he'd have 6 last night. He had 5, but he did get fouled on one, and he hit the 3 free
He
throws.
did get fouled on one,
So
yeah.
I'll technically count that.
Yeah, he played great. They did a lot of things well, and I really think they got unlucky to lose the previous game. They probably should have just closed this out in 5. But
they got lucky to win this one. I think so.
Middling. I'd say middle. I'll say this: they saved us the anticlimax of Golden State getting beat by 50 in Toronto because
you'd only tune in to see if
Steph
could
score
put up
60.
50. Yeah.
I will say this, and it's certainly you look at his numbers in the playoffs; he's an all-time great. But for people who want to detract from Steph, they're going to bring it up. Kellerman loves to do this. I don't know why, but
it's because they scripted it for him.
Well, what I'll say is that was a wide open look. You kind of got to hit that shot. Just saying. I really thought he'd
need a little bit more Kalen LeBourne, right?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of thought. I thought he'd hit that shot first of all.
That's a hell of a play.
It's a weird play. I don't like the inbounds play because that ball's going out of bounds. They're lucky.
Do you think he means to throw it that far? Because in a way, it does create the spacing for the shot.
But you only needed a 2. I don't know why they did that.
Because they knew it would be open. It's like Coach K in the inbound here baseline. We're gonna defend the 2.
I guess that's the argument. But that's a tough inbound throw to ask somebody to make.
It is
in that situation.
It certainly is.
I don't know. Something was messed up there. I don't think that.
You don't think Draymond was option A? Because even let's just say it was a bad pass. Let's say it was perfect. That's a hard pass to make.
It's a really hard pass to make with the game on the line. You only need a 2.
Right.
There's 10 seconds to play. They could have thrown in the backcourt.
Yeah.
They could have got a screen.
Also, by the way, could you imagine if Kawhi just had missed the free throws or
something,
and they threw it up and it goes in? Because that's 100% continuation. Even in college, that was continuation.
Yeah. No, but he didn't. But I thought about it. I thought that play at the end was weird. It worked for them the way
it generated a square up look.
Well, he's got to look.
They put that graphic up, too, that he hasn't made a shot inside of 20 seconds.
Kellerman was loving that because he loves to kill him for that. I would just say...
It's not his take. It's ESPN's take.
Perhaps. But I would say... Now, one thing he gets right is that he's overboard on Kawhi.
Stephen A., what's your position? You've earned your stripes. You can take whatever position you want. All right, Max, you'll be the opposite position.
You're going to rip Steph Curry. Okay.
We'll give you 5 minutes notice on what Stephen A.'s thoughts are.
Yeah.
And then you got to come up with your best.
Well, that's going to suck, but he would have the ammunition about those shots late.
Aaron Rodgers is terrible.
All I'll tell you is when he caught it and he was square like that, I went, oh, geez, that's going down. He's going to hit that. I was really surprised he rimmed it. And then they got unlucky with the rebound going where it did. But, that's
Did you hear the Open today on Get Up?
No.
I got to go find the audio. We'll play it next week.
I didn't see any of it.
Mike Greenberg already is, like a pro's pro, but,
Yeah, a little over the top.
Oh, my.
Oh, yeah, he did
it was
thing.
FM DJ, like it was Greenberg FM DJ voice.
Yeah.
It was something. He goes, he talks about Clay's injury like with gusto. He's like, Klay Thompson injured.
Yeah.
I got to go capture that audio. You're going to laugh your ass off.
By the way, when you watch that play with Clay, did you not cringe immediately because of the awkwardness, the way he landed? It's a fair basketball play. It's just, it's unlucky.
Yeah, At first, I was like, man, is he playing this up to see if they go to the monitor or something for a flagrant? Yeah. And then when you see that replay from the baseline.
Yes, that's the one.
And you see the instantaneous reaction of pain, there is no way in hell he's playing anything up.
And also the fans on the baseline. Did you see them?
Yeah.
They're all like, ah!
And you see the knee kind of.
It
trembled.
That.
It didn't buckle like some of the bad injuries, but it trembled in a internal way.
Good. As soon as I saw that, I was, I don't know. That's not good. And if he had a little more pressure, we would have been talking about a very squeamish moment. The way that angle.
But it wasn't a dirty play, and I'm glad that Green was able to walk up to him because he did take the free throws and they exchanged pleasantries and sportsmanship.
Definitely not a dirty play. That's just basketball, man. Sometimes it's unlucky. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Games for less. Tallahassee, a Super Walmart shopping center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Every day, vegetables are ripped from the earth, sliced, diced, even something called julienne. But for just $5 a day, you can help. Get 2 Hardee's Original Roast Beef Sandwiches for just $5. Slow-cooked beef, hand-dipped in rich au jus, each prepared without harming a single vegetable. So come to Hardee's, get 2 Original Roast Beef Sandwiches, and save the veggies. Hardee's, because it tastes better. Available for a limited time after regular breakfast hours at participating restaurants. Tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left!
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Napa know-how. How does Napa bring you the best deals on things like an Evercraft 26-piece screwdriver set with storage rack? The old switcheroo. Take the regular price, $41.99, switch around the digits, and wham, now just $14.99. Grab your Evercraft screwdriver set for $14.99 before the price switcheroo's back. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer ends 6/30/19.
Hey, I'm Jeff Doxey, Realtor for Capital Property Consultants, representing Premier Fine Homes. If you're thinking of owning your own brand new Premier home, call or text me at 850-545-4747 or email me, jeffdoxey1@gmail.com. You say where, I'll be there. Your Canopy Connection.
Take me out to the ball game.
Indeed. And with weather like this, it's good to see you out on this magnificent, sizable deck.
It is quite impressive. You can see it all the way from the stadium.
What a deck. What a deck indeed.
I hear that a lot.
You know, I remember, what was it, mid-90s you opened up? Place was so small.
Now it's huge.
All I know is a lot of good times have been spent on this deck. Man, people enjoy it. They laugh, they sing, they drink, they eat, and they celebrate all the goodness of the Gordo's deck.
And you can come have a Gordo Smash.
Delicious. Sitting on the deck with a Gordo Smash. That's a good day at the office.
Or put a Cuban in your mouth.
And other food. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Hendrick.
It's the Hendrick Summer Sales Event at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC. Save big on over 200 new Buick and GMC cars, trucks, and SUVs. We are professional grade. DaleJr.BuickGMC.com.
Who's ready for the best wings in Tally and locally brewed beers? Hobbit American Grill is the place to be. They've been voted Tally's best wings again in 2018. Hobbit offers Bill Mondays, happy hour all day Fridays with craft beers on tap from all the local breweries. And the Hobbit is your home for all the UFC fights with plenty of high-def TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip-smacking wings in town. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving great food to great friends for good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. The president of the new NBA champion Toronto Raptors, Masai Ujiri, is now being investigated by the Alameda County Sheriff's Office for possible misdemeanor battery on a police officer. More details from ESPN's Brian Windhorst.
This is an unfortunate development. Masai watched the end of the game from the tunnel outside the Raptors locker room on television. Once the game was over, he came down the tunnel and wanted to go on the court to celebrate with his team. But because it was a trophy presentation situation and because it was the visiting team winning, there was new security procedures in place and new credentials required. Now, this is standard procedure in the NBA. Masai did not have that credential. The officer there who was part of an increased security presence around the court did not know who he was.
The sheriff's office says Ujiri pushed the officer twice, the second time making contact with his face. This all happening while Ujiri may be about to get a big money offer from the Washington Wizards. Owner Ted Leonsis is expected to ask permission to talk with Ujiri about a contract that would include an ownership stake in the team. Texas and Texas A&M will meet on the basketball court December 8th. They'll play at a neutral site in Fort Worth. It'll be only the second meeting since the Aggies left the Big 12 for the SEC 7 years ago. From hockey, the Islanders re-signed winger Jordan Eberle to a new 5-year contract worth more than $27 million.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday, brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachie Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
And away we go as we get set for the weekend. Now I'm finally nervous. Ready for Florida State to play and hopefully play well tomorrow night. Obviously, Monday's game will either be at 2 o'clock or 7 o'clock based on a win or a loss. We are off the air on Monday. I am in St. Augustine at a concert and then driving back. But I figured it works best that way so we can react on Tuesday to either the end or the continued run and perhaps a booked flight. There is that if you're optimistic.
Yeah, we will know a bleep ton more come Tuesday.
Yeah, it's again, I said yesterday and really have kind of thought all week long, at this point you got yourself back in the dance there to give yourself a chance at a fairy tale ending. I still think Florida State is a decided underdog against an Arkansas, but it's one game of baseball in a really large field, and you got a chance, obviously, to win a game like that. It's not as if Florida State isn't brimming with confidence, and if you can mitigate some of that Arkansas power, it also mitigates some of Florida State's power. But who knows? If Drew Parrish pitches well, you win a low-scoring game. I actually think it's going to be fairly low-scoring. I think Drew will pitch pretty well.
I think so, too, just because this team feels like there's more than just the sum of their parts going to Omaha.
Yeah.
There's more to it. And if that means that Parrish pitches a terrible game, we have to score 10, I feel like we might. We might win 10. I know this is not the ballpark. This is not Rosenblatt. I totally understand that. But it just feels like, and, baseball they could change that and humble you in about 6 innings, and you'll know. But it just feels like no matter how this game needs to play out, we're going to be in it at the end because that's the way it's been the last couple of weeks, and they have that look in their eye.
Well, that means you're buying into the magic because that's just really, a sense that a team is believing and is going to be, no matter how you play it, in it because there's a will and a belief. And so at that point, we've watched other teams do it. It's annoying. Like if you are rooting against us, and that happens again, it will remind me of some of the teams that went on to win, and I thought, why can't we ever do that? Why can't we ever get to where somehow something clicks, a light bulb goes off, or a wave of momentum that we catch, something that makes them believe above and beyond what they are statistically?
Well, again, before we go off for the weekend, think about it this way, as we've said before. Why did you think they turned it around when they were in a 7-13 stretch? Why did
well, they
you
always do. They always do.
Right, but is that like a tangible thing?
Right, no. Well, I would say it's a better track record than this crazy run that they're on right now. I didn't see – it's weird. It's the same sense that that I had about Athens. I mean, the thing about Athens was I could point to, you get a little in that head of that Georgia team who was so angry about the way things ended a year ago. Maybe they start to get flustered and we begin to brim with confidence and it happens. I'm having a harder time with this. It's so weird. It's a week later. I did not think they'd win that LSU regional. So as right as I was about the Athens regional, I didn't say that we had no chance to win it. I just didn't think we would. So now I'm kind of open to the idea of maybe it's a magic ride.
Well, and again, so there's no real tangible reason other than history to believe that we would turn it around this year. For me, you've seen this team a lot of times show up to Omaha, and you're like, no way, no how. I mean, Vegas has it right. They're plus 1,000. Of course they should be.
Yeah.
What are they doing here? And then the next thing you know, they're playing in the best of 3 or the championship game back in the day, and it's a magical run, and they just keep finding ways to win. Something worth noting for tomorrow, again, is that if you're looking for the extra pop on the ball because of the temperatures, it's going to be nice in Omaha, respectively. It's going to be in the upper 80s, mid to upper 80s at first pitch, which means that it's not, 110-degree heat index, which gives the ball a little 10% extra distance on it. So, and there's going to be some rain, at least a chance of it, in the middle of the day. So it might be a little bit muggy, but it's not going to be unseasonably hot as you've experienced in the past up there.
I have. I've seen both. Omaha's weird. And it's going to be weird while they're there because just yesterday it was 73 with very little humidity. It was perfect.
Well, and tomorrow will be 86-62 for the next round of games. Then Monday, game 2, whenever that is for us, it'll be a high of 80 and a low of 61. It's going to be gorgeous on Monday.
You get lucky or you don't out there. I've never had the in-between. I've been out there before where I thought, this is breathtakingly beautiful. I can't believe it. And I've been out there before and I thought, this is worse than Florida. Well, how do these people do this? I mean, it was ungodly one year I was out there. Another time I thought, these lucky bastards, it's mid-June and it's 74.
But I think it's to our advantage. The cooler the weather is, given the way those bats swing for Arkansas, the better off we are.
I will say this, and it doesn't, at this point, hey, it's a baseball game. It's a one-off in this one game against Arkansas. Going into the tournament, if you were handicapping this, you say Arkansas is better than Florida State, Vanderbilt is better than Florida State, Louisville is better than Florida State. There are a lot of teams you would look to and say, those teams seem primed. But UCLA hadn't lost a series all year long, lost at home to Michigan.
And it's a bracket.
It's a bracket.
It's a bracket.
You just got to get out of your bracket.
Yes. So Louisville and Vandy are all the way over there.
And they're beating each other up.
Right. Now, Texas Tech is better than Florida State as well.
Yeah.
And they're in our half. And Michigan is another team of destiny. We have the more interesting of the two brackets.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I would rather be where we are, though. I think it's good for Florida State that we're not playing Louisville or Vandy right now. No thanks. That Vandy team is really good. I know we were kind of, shook by that 18-5 number Duke threw on them, but the way they responded with the 19 strikeout no-hitter and then the bludgeoning in the next game, it's almost like that just ticked them off to a point where, what are we doing? Come on, let's get it together, guys. And they're really good, and of course they've won a national title, and so the experience factor matters. I'm really hoping that the bottom line is if you beat Arkansas, you've got a real good chance. Now you start thinking about, we could get there. Get to a championship series, okay.
Right. Well, nobody's throwing their ace anyway, or if they are, he's coming in for, game 3 or some long bullpen work.
Well, and also I'm reminded, and I continue to pinch myself, we're talking about this. This is happening. It's June the 14th. Florida State is still playing college baseball, and they're doing so in the College World Series. They're one of only 8 teams still playing baseball. They were terrible the vast majority of this season, and by their standards, they were terrible, period.
Yeah.
And they were the last 4 in, one of the last 4 in. Even if I thought they were going to get in no matter what, I'll concede they weren't very good. It was tantalizingly close. It certainly felt like if we hadn't pounded NC State, we might just need the goodwill of the committee. So, if I tell everybody before the postseason begins, that team's going to go in and bludgeon Georgia and then sweep LSU at Alex Box. Everything else is gravy. And, it's almost preventive maintenance here, and I don't mean it to be, because you got a chance to win a national championship, so go for it. It'd be great. And obviously it's almost hard to comprehend. But this is not going to, no matter how it plays out, fall under the category, Martin choked. They shouldn't be there. They have no business being there.
Yeah, even if they did go 0-2.
No,
I mean,
this is all gravy right now. This is crazy.
It is, and I think the good news, again, is let's just say that we played Michigan in Game 1. I think we'd all like that on its face, but at the same time, now your mindset changes from the attacker to, okay, we've got a bit of an easier matchup here, and let's worry about what we want our rotation to be in Game 1 and Game 2. Maybe it changes the mindset a little bit. Here's another SEC team that bludgeons the baseball that was a baseball tragedy away from winning a College World Series last year.
Still shocking.
And so they're pissed off, rolling into Omaha, trying to make things right.
Unfinished business,
Right. And yet, we are the, again, prohibitive underdog in this game. So the mindset traveled. It went from Athens to Baton Rouge, and it's in Omaha. Now, if you play Michigan in the winner's bracket or something along the lines.
At some point it shifts,
It could shift, but for now, the mindset is exactly the same.
It is, and they'll be the darling there. The Omaha World Herald already had a big picture on the front page. My buddy sent it to me with Florida State's dog pile and the Noles make it back to Omaha. They can pick any team, and they do this out there. They'll pick a team to highlight, and the locals get behind that squad, and we're the best story. It's by far the best story. You've got a legendary coach, the winningest coach in college baseball history, who is well-respected and liked by the people out there for his class and the way that he treats the people of Omaha and the game itself and all that stuff. He's been coming for a long time. They will root for him. Now, admittedly, there are some other stories that are worth getting behind. If you're objective about this, Michigan, first time since '84. Arkansas, who just a year ago had their heart ripped from their chest, if they were to capitalize and make right what happened a year ago, I think the fans would appreciate that. A lot of good stories out there.
Well, that would be kind of like the Virginia basketball redemption arc.
That's true. That's true.
Given the way, cause the way they lost that game was kind of akin to losing to a 16 seed. It's just, it doesn't happen. It never happens.
That kid overran a foul ball for the final out of the College World Series to win it.
That's a little sweet and a half.
Followed by a single, and a bomb.
That's probably a little sweet sounder that goes on for days without stopping.
I mean, just in perpetuity until they win it.
So,
think about that. The Arkansas baseball fan watched a kid overrun the foul ball that wins them the College World Series. That batter, who gets extra life because of the overrun, ends up singling. Arkansas still can win this game. There's 2 outs. There's another single, and they're being bled. Just slow little cuts. And at some point, they had to know a big hit was coming in the way of a 3-run bomb, and we're playing tomorrow night.
Ugh.
And I don't think anybody would have gone to bed that night as an Arkansas fan thinking we're coming back and winning this. You went to bed that night going, it's over. The dream's over. We lost. There's no way. You wouldn't. How do you overrun a foul ball to catch it to win it?
Is that on par, better, or worse than, or more palatable or worse than Nelson Cruz?
Oh, the Nelson Cruz one's worse, I think.
Let's just say Arkansas baseball meant as much to you as Texas Rangers baseball did. And so it's equal fandom. Who had the worst experience?
Texas. It was stupid how that happened. that was just, they had a lot of tough break. David Freeze's bomb and all, I mean, there's just.
So I'll tell you, honestly, I'm not nervous today. Maybe it's because the U.S. Open is distracting me enough. But I do know myself enough to know that tomorrow, if anybody's watching the game with me,
4 o'clock or something.
No, they're coming to my house.
You're not going out, yeah.
Maybe after game 1, I could, just poke my head out the door and say, all right, maybe I can go somewhere and watch this game. But for this first one, I want to be on lockdown.
Well, because it's also everything. I think if they go and they lose to Arkansas, they're not winning the College World Series. We're not deep enough. We're not good enough to come out of that losers bracket the way South Carolina did a number of years ago. I don't think it's baseball, so I suppose you could, but it's very unlikely. So you kind of, it's not do or die the way it used to be. They've changed the format. It used to be you got in the losers bracket, you were dead. You had to play too many games in too short a period of time, and you just didn't have the pitching to do it. Nowadays, you can do it, but it is awfully difficult, and I don't think we're good enough to do that. I think we got to ride this wave, continue with the improbable, beat Arkansas, put yourself in a position to roll out there with your best pitcher and be done with this thing. And let's go to the final series. Let's go. That's crazy to me if it happens, but you can win the College World Series with 2 good pitchers, a bullpen or 2, arm, and momentum. You can go out there and do that. We've seen it before. You can do that. It's nice to have 3, and some other people are going to have to pitch, but if your Bulldogs pitch that way, you can win the whole damn thing. So Drew's got to win. It's the same thing we said about Baton Rouge. He didn't win, but he pitched well enough to keep us in it, and we eventually won. So once you won that game and you were coming back with Van Eck, you were going to have a chance to win, and you knew that. You were going to have a real good chance.
So then let me play, just since it's
Devil's
Libations
Advocate,
Friday.
sure,
No, not Devil's Advocate. I want to play the optimistic card because I want people feeling good on the way home. Let's just say we win games 1 and 2. And so we've got one more to get into that best of 3 to close it out. You throw Parrish then? Or do you tempt fate and throw Grady? And then first sign of trouble, Parrish comes in.
How many days between? Do you
Okay, so we're playing Saturday, Monday.
Saturday,
I guess it would be Wednesday.
Friday. Oh, no, it would be.
Oh, no, it would be Friday, wouldn't it?
Friday. Yeah, you don't pitch again until Friday. Yeah, that's why it's Kate. That's why Yeah, I pitch Parrish.
You pitch him again? Okay.
Yeah.
So then it's CJ. So you could pitch Parrish on 4 days rest like a major leaguer in a game 3?
You could. They may not do it. I would.
You wouldn't tempt fate and pitch Grady and see if you could get into the best of three with Parrish and Van Eyck?
Ready to go?
Probably not. You got to take it. You got to take what's in front of you.
You got to win the game.
I'd love to have that debate this upcoming week.
Oh, it's a fun debate. Let's hope we're talking all about it. Let's hope we're yelling at each other about what we would do in that situation.
Well, I don't know what the right answer is 80% that you go with Parrish.
I think
but
so.
But still,
I think so. But I don't know his arm. I don't know how he responds after he pitches.
Greedy.
I don't know,
Could be greedy.
Well, yeah, I like having to make those decisions. Let's hope that happens. Let's do probables and say goodbye.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Nice. D-backs, Nats, Robbie Ray, Max Scherzer. What a matchup. That's a really good matchup. I may watch that game. Red Sox, Orioles, Eduardo Rodriguez. Not going to watch that game because I don't care who's pitching for the Orioles, and apparently they don't either. TBD. Rangers, Reds, Jesse Chavez, Tyler Mahle. Pirates finally get done getting whooped by the Braves, and they get to move on, play the Marlins, which you would think would be a respite. Probably not. We're throwing Steven Brault, and he sucks. Damn it. Trevor Richards pitches for the Marlins. Steven Brault's garbage. I can't watch him pitch anymore. You know how you have guys on the Mets that you get pissed about? Steven Brault is my guy when I watch him pitch.
Most of them, yeah.
Angels, Rays, Andrew Haney, Blake Snell. I wish Blake Snell played for the Pirates.
We hired a pitching coach as a manager, and outside of Jason Vargas, nobody has...
Vargas is rolling, baby!
So he's got Vargas down. He's made everybody worse.
Indians, Tigers. Like, if you guys fire your coach, Vargas is going to fall to his knees and weep. Indians, Tigers, Adam Plutko and Ryan Carpenter. We got the Cards and the Mets. Daniel Ponce de Leon.
Very Floridian.
I love it. Steven Matz going for the Mets.
We have a suspended game we got to finish, too.
Phillies, Braves. Let's go Phils. Nick Pivetta goes for the Phillies. We got Max Fried going for the Braves. Kansas City and Minnesota. Brad Keller, Kyle Gibson. Minnesota's 45-22. Just a reminder. Yanks, White Sox, CC Sabathia.
I like that better, CC Bathia.
Yeah. Lucas Giolito goes for the White Sox. We got the Jays and the Astros. Aaron Sanchez, Garrett Cole. Padres, Rockies, Cal Quintrell and Jeff Hoffman. Mariners, A's, Marcus Gonzalez, Chris Bassett. Cubs, Dodgers. Dodgers thumped the Cubs last night. Kyle Hendricks goes for the Cubbies. Rich Hill for the Dodgers. Brewers, Giants. That's a late-ass game at 10:15 tonight. Zach Davies and Drew Pomeranz. And you are making up a game. Is that going on right now? Are you making up a game right now?
It was earlier today. I don't know.
Yeah.
We blew it in the ninth. I don't even want to look.
Oh,
we're up 4-2 in the ninth, and it's pouring rain. So they bring the tarp out. They're like, nah, let's try the quick dry. Let's get it back in, and we blow the 2-run lead.
Oh.
We can't do anything right when it. Never mind.
Frustrating.
Marvin Wilson.
Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Go Noles. And I'll talk to you on Tuesday.